the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are only motivated. Build not borrowed, that's the creed written deep in our veins. We turn busted cars into legends and rust into fame. From late night garage grind to race day stadium roars. Every scar on our knuckles unlocked 1,000 doors. We don't back down, we don't break, we don't fold. Every ride we build tells a story worth gold. This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline trains. Gasoline trains. For the love nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes. For the families of drivers, the wrench turning crews. For the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are only motivated. Here's to the nights when the world said slow down, but the engine said no when we stood our ground. To the ones who grew up rich and when the rest took the easy way, we found our path in the piston noise and we'll ride it every day. Pedal to the metal, this is where we belong. Cars, trucks, monster trucks, loud and strong. Passion, pride, lug nuts, side by side. If you love what you drive, then ride, ride, ride. This is for the legends that started in dusty garages. For the kids who chase dreams through the scars and collages. For the racers who gave everything without fail. And the fans who stand proud when the engines wail. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, this ain't a phase. It's our passion, our culture, and we'll live it to the grave. Pedal to the metal, forever in our veins. So look out, we're only getting louder from here. Nothing built strong was ever built out of fear. The road is wide open and the fire won't slow. Because this isn't a hobby, this is the only life we know. Pedal down, heads high. We're not done. Pedal down, heads high. Pedal down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pedal to the Metal, the podcast where horsepower meets heart. From the shine of collector cars to the roar of race cars and the thunder of monster trucks, we've got it all. So buckle up your seatbelt, turn on the gas, and grab your favorite brew, 'cause the ride starts now. And now, here's your host, Roller.
Hey, come on now. Woo, it's cold outside. It's cold, man, it's cold. We better have some hot chocolate instead of some mixed drinks tonight. I don't know. Whoa. Man. Woo. It is cold outside, man. It is really cold. Let's bring it down in here. Let's bring it down. Another sold-out crowd. All you up in the mezzanine, how y'all doing tonight, man? Great to see you guys. Another great. Hello, Carter. Let's just jam out. Carter's in the house. Carter's in the house. But you know, guys, come on now. Let's just calm down here. Let's just calm down. You know, we can't have that big of a celebration tonight because the Broncos lost. You know, bummer. It's just a bummer, man. I'm so. You know, I didn't know if they were going to do it or not, and I don't know. My own professional opinion, and that ain't very much. It's hard to win with a quarterback that just has no playtime, man. Just has no playtime. And then it's really hard when your offensive line is not blocking for you. I mean, you know, it was a good game, and don't get me wrong. I mean, they held them to low points and stuff like that, you know. But I don't know, man. And then all of a sudden, where did that blizzard come from? My goodness. I was upstairs earlier. Everything was fine. It was cold outside. And then all of a sudden, I come back upstairs again, and it's a blizzard. I was like, what the heck has happened in there, man? But anyway, enough said about that. The Broncos, I have to give them a round of applause because they did a good job this year, man. I'm very proud of them. They did a very good job, man. And that's from somebody that hasn't been much of a football fan here lately in the last probably four years because all the kneeling and all the other bullshit, you know. I just quit watching, and it just really got unenthused about football. Where if you walk into my basement downstairs, it's loaded with Bronco memorabilia, man. But that was from the good days when the Broncos were the good Broncos, man. You know, big time guy, Al Zato, and you know, all them guys like that, man. You know, Terrell Davis and Steve Sewell, and God, just you know, all of them, man. Just all of the Broncos that were the men back in the day. These guys are good, but you know, that other team, man, those other boys were just they were the bad boys of football, man, for sure. Especially like Romanowski and stuff, man. They were they did some great crazy stuff. But hey, guys, welcome to Pedal to the Metal, man. We're gonna have a great show tonight. We got B.J. Johnson in the house. He's going to be on the air here at 7:15. We're going to call in, man, the bad boy of monster trucks. I worked with this guy for a lot of years, man. We did a lot of shows together. And I watched him drive all kinds of trucks for Paul Schaefer. And hello, Scott Goodyew. How are you today, man? My brother Scott Goodyew's in the house. Vaughn Long's in the house. Kevin Rudder's in the house. Scotty Goodyew, I got to ask you a question. I meant to call you today, but time got away from me. Who won this weekend in the auctioneers contest, man? I don't know. I don't know, Vaughn. There's Scott Chisholm. Scott Chisholm's in the house. Green Juice is slushy in the house. That ain't no joke, brother. That ain't no joke. But, Scotty won, huh? Oh, right on. No, Scotty didn't win. Anyway, we're going to have a little change in the show next week on Wednesday the 28th. Tim Dudley, he's up in Indiana, up in that area, and they got such bad snows up there. He's on call for the next week. So he is going to be on the show on February 1st. So we're going to have him on there. I'm in talks with some bands and stuff here in Colorado. They're going to be on the show. They're going to do some special recording and send me some tracks so that we can talk to them. And then this guy's name's Adam, and he Adam Cheech. He has open mic night at a lot of this, like Stagecoach and all them places like that, man. And he allows unknown artists to come in and get a little mic time and stuff like that. So I figured I'd reach out to him and find out exactly what we could do to help him and what he could do to help us. And man, I think it's going to be a good relationship. I really do. He's got some people that are really good, and we're gonna bring them on and stuff. So we changed the logo. What do you guys think about the new logo, man? Huh? Yeah, Motors and Music. I love it, man. And you guys picked it, man. It was hands down pick. Motors and Music got the biggest nominations, man, and so I gotta roll with my lug nuts, man. That's why I put it out there, and that's the reason why we do that. And this is you guys' show, so congratulations on your new name change, man, to Motors and Music. Wow. That's kind of cool, man. I like the way the logo come out and everything like that. So we're gonna have us a good time tonight, though. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. Tim Dudley, of course, won't be on Wednesday's show, so I'm gonna have to try to fill somebody in for that show and get that going. The motorhome packages. The motorhome's still a dream. It's not a for sure deal yet, but we are going to wrap the motorhome. Von Long, whoa, long time no see. Jennifer Fagan said, "Whoa, what's up, Von Longer?" Von Longer. Anyway, we're gonna wrap the motorhome, man. We're gonna sell sponsorships on the doors. Those doors are gonna cost $1,000 for the year, and for that. You get your company logo displayed on the side of the motorhome along with a QR code directing customers to your business. On-air mentions on our worldwide podcast, Pedal to the Metal, airing Sundays and Wednesdays. Distribution that we'll hand out. There you go. Any handouts and promotional materials that you provide to people at car shows. If you give us 1,000 hats, we're going to take them. Garrett Num from Wyoming. Young man did a hell of a job. Congratulations, Garrett Num. Congratulations for taking the contest, man. That's coming in here and winning 20 grand. Wow. Since Scotty got behind that contest, man, the money's went up. He's got a lot of contacts out there, man, and he was down some auctioneers about a week ago. And all he did was pick up the phone, man. He's got such a great reputation with the auctioneers and a great following. And he told him, he said, guys, you need to be here, man. And the last time I heard, they had one spot left. And, it was just really, really cool to see that big of a turnout, man. And I'm sure that the Denver boys did exceptionally well. I guarantee you that right now. The Denver boys did really, really well. I'll bet money on it. Hello, Chuck. How are you tonight? Anyway, we'll hand out any of those handouts that you give us. If you give us 1,000 hats, we won't hand out 1,000 hats at one car show. We'll distribute them throughout the year for you. So we'll do that for you. And then one guest spot twice a year on the worldwide podcast, Pedal to the Metal, giving you the opportunity to talk live about your business with our audiences, okay? That's $1,000 a month. I mean, $1,000 for the year. And that's, do the math, that's less than $100 a month, man. It's too cheap. So the next one is the Gold Sponsor Package. That's $2,400 a year, $200 a month. And you get prime locations on the logo, with your logo and a QR code on the motorhome. You also get a professional commercial made and about your business, aired twice on each of our shows every Sunday and Wednesday. One guest appearance per quarter on the shows. Talk live about your business and engaging with our audience. Promotional materials handed out, of course, the same way as the other one. We'll hand out anything that you have. You have koozies, cups, hats, whatever. We'll hand that stuff out. And then be a sponsor on the show once a month, including recognition and shout outs during the episode. So like tonight, if let's just say that Family Trucks and Vans was the sponsor, they would be the sponsor of tonight's show. So, and we would have a big spot for them and talk about them and stuff like that. So, and then an opportunity for your company spokesperson to appear in person at events we attend, connecting directly with audiences. So what that means is basically we'll let you or your spokesperson go with us to one of the shows, and you guys can have some mic time. You guys can talk to the people. You can hand out your handouts. You can tell them about your product, and we'll do all that for you. And that's the gold sponsorship, and that's $2,400 a year. Really, guys, that's cheap advertising. It really is. It's very, very cheap advertising. So we look forward to getting the motorhome going. Now, stickers. We got stickers. You name it, we got them right now. We getting ready to. We're waiting for one more sticker to come in. We haven't got it. We haven't got it finished yet. And as soon as it does, we'll put that in the sticker packs. But we got the two Rolling with Roller and Derek stickers. One's a hot rod and one's a V8 motor, and those will be in the sticker packs. And of course, the official lug nut sticker won't be in there because you have to have an interview in a car on Rolling with Roller and Derek to do any kind of to get that official lug nut. Now, if Derek comes here and does a pedal to the metal live, and we talk to somebody about their car, and we got stuff like that, then we'll give them a sticker. But I won't do an episode without Derek, and that's when we do Rolling with Roller and Derek in the summertime at the car shows. We got the new sticker for pedal to the metal. We got a smaller sticker for pedal to the metal. We got the very first sticker made with for Rolling with Roller and Derek. We don't have a lot of these. As soon as they're done, they're done. We won't be making any more of those. And then, of course, we've still got the other two from Rolling and Roller with Derek. So we'll get those handed out to you, and hopefully you guys will like those sticker packs. I think they're going to be somewhere between $5 and $10. I'm not sure. I think my cousin Debbie has already paid for hers, and if I go less, I'm going to owe her some money. So we're going to do that. My buddy Texas Rich, he has a business that he does metal prints and show boards for your car. It absolutely takes your car to the next level as far as a display piece at the shows. My truck was in the magazine issue number 5. He has a digital magazine, and it was in that issue. And before then, people would walk by and they'd glance at my truck or anything because it's nothing fancy. It's not got a high-dollar paint job on it or anything like that. But it's my truck. It's my tribute to my dad. And there isn't a big enough amount of money that you could offer me that I would go ahead and sell that. It'd have to be somebody in my family sick where I'd have to sell it to do anything like that. But since I was in the magazine and Rich made this special show board for the people in his magazine, I display this at the car shows, and my truck has gotten more looks after this show board come up because it tells the story. And this is the show board right here. It tells the story of my truck and why it's like that and why it's not fancy and why I haven't spent $100,000 on it and everything like that, And it just tells the story that it's a tribute to my dad, and it was a truck that he drove when we had the auto sales and stuff like that. So, we're just trying to help Rich out, and he can make these show boards for you, and he can make them in the sizes of 11 by 14, 16 by 20, 20 by 30, or 20 by 30 in the show board. Now, he'll make the metal prints in all 3 of those sizes, but you can only buy the show board in a 20 by 30. So you can go ahead and, like I always say, make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil. And it doesn't matter, man. I'm sure that he would... There's my cousin Debbie right there. I'm sure he would make a show board about anything. It doesn't have to be about C10 trucks or anything. He'll do one for your classic car, maybe your motorcycle, whatever. He might even do one for Von Long's horse if Von Long had a special horse that he wanted done. So you never know. But anyway, you can call him or you can email him at texasrich@c10americamagazine.com. That's texasrich@c10americamagazine.com, and he'll walk you through all the pricing and everything. But, man, if you're looking to take your vehicle or motorcycle or something, whatever you love to show, and you're up to taking it to the next level, get one of these, man, because they are durable. They last forever, and they really, really look good. So other than that, Johnny Blender has had some problems with his dog. He finally had to put his dog down, so I haven't really talked to him and seen if the music has been posted on The Edge Radio US yet. As soon as I get more information on that, I will hand that information over to you guys and let you know what's going on with him. So there's Steve Craftsman. What's up, Lugnuts? Sounds off. I don't know. I hope not. Dominican Wi-Fi is slow. Oh, okay. All right. That's where you are tonight, huh, buddy? Well, that's crazy. I hope that you fly safe and everything's going good. I thought the windshield was busted out of the plane this morning when you sent me those pictures, man. I thought they were. So hope you like the song too, man. I really do. That was from me to you, bro. Anyway, I think we're about ready just to kind of kick back and chill out, take it easy, and maybe listen to some music, and then we'll listen to BJ here a little bit later on. If I can find out where my mouse went. There it is, right there. This is a song that I made from a good friend of mine down in Oklahoma. His name is Sam Ditto. This is about his motorcycle and stuff, and it's called Heavy Wristed. We'll be back here in a minute on Pedal to the Metal.
Sam Ditto's a man who likes to ride. Hands on the grips, throttle twisted wide. Never argued being called heavy-wristed. That engine talks and he always listens. Bought his first bike in 2008. Takes home a Harley, sealed his fate. Old Softail, pearl, white and blue. That bike felt born for breaking loose. He's been riding since 17. Wind on his face, heart running free. One road speak when the world gets loud. Chrome and miles keep him steady now. Yeah, some men pray, some men roll. Sam Ditto rides that country blues road. The oil patch of morning, sun barely high. Riding to work while the rest drive by. Days on the road, man, he misses those days. Highway home in a different way. Hard head off, gloves pulled tight. That ride home felt better than right. Gas tank singing, engine warm. Felt more alive than he'd ever been born. He's been riding since 17. Wind on his face, heart running free. When the nights get long and the roads get tired, that motor's truth never wants a lie. Yeah, some men pray, some men roll. Sam Ditto rides that country blues road. Then love came along like love always does. Wedding rings and grown-up stuff. Traded the Softail, tried to slow it down, but No bike after felt quite right around. Bar one just a flip for play. Didn't plan on keeping it anyway, but the first owner treated her like gold. Every service loved, every story told. Some things don't speak till you take it slow, and they grab your heart and won't let go. He's been riding since 17, still chasing that in between. When the cold rolls in and nights run along, that engine hum feels like an old blues song. Yeah, some men pray, some men roll. Sam Ditto rides that country blues road. He gave that bike his own kind of style, lifted the front fender a couple inches high. 21-inch flat spoke, black and chrome, front end tall like it finally found home. Dropped the back with an air ride low, 16-inch flat spoke, tucked in slow. Merlot sun glow, shining deep and bold. She's a fine-looking dresser, truth be told. Hobo nickel shining clean and bright, time and cover stamped to mark his life. And Mitchell said, so the whole world knows, that bike ain't borrowed, that bike's his soul. I ride all I can till the cold sets in. When 40 hits, old bones don't bend. Batteries fade and the wind cuts sharp, but the dream still pulls on the same old hard days on the road. That's a full-time plan. The bike's jelly to my homemade biscuit, man. If I could, I'd ride all day long, wind in my hair, fish tape, singing their song. He's been riding since 17, still chasing miles, still riding clean. Life changed lanes, but the road stayed true. Every scar earned, every mile due. Yeah, some men pray, some men roll. Sam Ditto rides that country blues road. Heavy wristed, hands still strong, Merlot sun glow rolling on. Yeah, the road knows his name, and the road remembers him.
There you go, Heavy Wristed, right there for Sam Ditto. Next one here, but first of all, ladies and gentlemen, forgot one of my sponsors because the paper fell down on the floor. I'd like to thank Arch Auto Glass for their sponsorship. They have a mobile service. They can go right to your business, to your house. They can go anywhere. They can go in the parking lot of the Walmart, and put a windshield in your vehicle. If you mention Pedal to the Metal, he'll give you 10% off. Art's phone number is 720-296-8635. That's 720-296-8635. Mention Pedal to the Metal, get 10% off on the install of that auto glass right here. All right, let's see. Our next one up here is called Open Mike Gold. It's about a young man, or a man that works hard all week long and spends the rest of his time writing music and playing it in the bars and stuff at open mics all over there. Hey there, Sam Ditto. We just played your song, man. I'm sorry you didn't get on, but I wanted to lead the show off with it, and I just love it, man. I know. I'm glad you do too, Sam. I really am. Maybe we'll play it a little bit later on for you again here. But anyway, this one here is called Open Mike Gold. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal.
clock ringing before daylight breaks. Coffee burns and a long road waits. Punches a card, keeps his head down straight. Dreams don't clock in, they don't punch out late. Calloused hands, strings by deep. Songs in his bones that won't let him sleep. Every word lived, every line true. Writing tomorrow when the day is through. He ain't chasing smoke or a borrowed name. Just wants his songs to stand their ground. He's paid in miles and sleepless nights, gas and strings and ballroom lights. Sings like the room might change his life, even when it's quiet as a red light. 12 strings ringing, heart laid bare, truth in his voice, nothing spared. If hard work ever turns, it'll be open, my goal. One room walls and a blinking screen, learning the craft in between the scenes. Records it raw, mixes it clean, no shortcuts taking no in between. Drives past towns that forget his name, sets up quiet, plays the same. Leaves it all on a borrowed stage, lets the music say what he can't say. No crowd too small to give it his best. That's how belief survives the test. He's paid in miles and second chances, bent mic stands and hard-earned glances. Sings like tomorrow depends on tonight, like one right here couldn't make it right. 12 strings humming, steady and bold, every note honest, bought and sold. If hard work ever turns, it'll be open, my goal. One true moment, one sincere. A good song don't beg or fold, it waits to be known. He's paid in miles and belief held tight. Long roads home and short goodbyes. Still showing up when no one calls, still standing tall when the silence falls. 12 strings are ringing through hope and doubt. That's what real work sounds like now. If hard work ever turns, it'll be open, my goal. No shortcuts taken, no lines bent, just songs written the way they're meant.
There you go, open mic gold right there. Steve Craftsman, to answer your question, no, it's not about him, but it's a song directed to people like him that does the open mics and stuff like that. And we are working some details out, and he is going to start being on the show, and then he's going to start sending me talent to play on the music show. So we're working that out right now. Now, this next song is about the gentleman I was just talking to. His name's Steve Craftsman. This man sends me photos. He's a pilot, and he'll be sending me photos at night, and it's all the instrumentation of the jet, man. And I ask him different questions about what's this gauge do and what's this thing's telling you and stuff. And he sent me one the other night, and I just got to thinking, that would be kind of a cool song, man, to do. So I kind of drafted one up and sent it to him, and I just got an approval of it from him tonight on the show, and so I'm going to play it for you guys. This is called Cockpit Lights in the Night. This goes out to my buddy Steve Craftsman right there, who's a commercial airline pilot.
scanning left and right. Level wings, smooth as glass. Let the cabin sleep while the hours pass. Every call, every choice he makes, got weight behind it, no room for mistakes. 30,000 feet, calm and cool. A steady hand is the golden rule. Pressure high, but his nerves are stone. That's the weight of getting everyone home. Guided by the night, steady as steel. Trust in the gauges, knowing what's real. If one engine fades, he don't lose his way. Finds the safest ground night or day. Carrying lives with a pilot's grace. JT flies with the greatest ease. If you need him, day or night, one phone call away, he's there on site. Doesn't matter where you've been, he shows up strong for his own and his friends. True and blue, hard to find, built that way in heart and mind. Family first, that's how he lives. More than most folks ever give. Guided by the night, hearts in his hands. From distant skies to familiar land. Works those hours for his girls and wife. Fueling dreams with a disciplined life. True friend, strong to the bone. One of the best I've ever known. From cockpit glass to chrome and steel, 55 Chevy shining real, 61 vet under small town lights. Same calm soul, just a different ride. JT's my friend, I'll say it again. Proud as hell to call him a friend till the end.
There you go. That's my buddy there, Steve Craftsman, man. I could tell you the song says JT, but I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you about the secrets of that name change in there. So we'll just leave it like that and just let you know that it is about Steve Craftsman. You know, there's one thing that I like the best out of doing my songs is making songs for my friends. And this next song coming up is for a friend that I've been friends with his daddy for all my life. And then he came on the scene and he worked for me at the auction in Amarillo. He was one of my auctioneers. And then we got to work together up here in Denver. And I have just been part of this family for forever. I mean, I just really have. And I believe I might have played a version of it the other night, but Scott Goodhue's the only one that's really heard this song. And my buddy Clint, his boy, his name is Blake. And Blake has become an auctioneer because that's what you do if you're a Sherman. You become an auctioneer. And he is moving up so fast, like all of these young auctioneers are. We got some talent in Denver. That's amazing, man. There are some youngsters sitting in the saddles. They're going to be in that seat for a long time, as long as they do things the right way, and they don't get big-headed and think that they're the best in the world. I mean, I guess it's okay to think that you're the best, but you don't have to tell everybody that you're the best, man. And because you got to be humble in this business, man. You got to have the killer bee instinct. Don't get me wrong, but you got to be humble at the same time, man. And you got to let people in really. You got to be firm. You got to set the rules. Like my buddy Scott Goodhue, Vaughn, they set the rules, man. They put the rules down on the floor. The dealers know. They just know that there's no messing around, man. I mean, we'll have fun. We'll have a good time selling you cars and stuff like that. But if you back out on a bid or you do something that makes us look bad, oh, it's just a bad day at Black Rock for you, man. You might as well just go get in your car and go home, because you're not going to get another car bought, because it goes all the way down to every auctioneer. Hey, this guy just screwed me over. Don't sell him any cars today. And it's just awful funny that he can't buy cars, man, for some reason. I just don't know why, and it's just one of those things, man. We are a tight-knit group. We protect our own, and we take care of our own. And Blake is one of our own. When he was born, we all got together, the auctioneers in Denver, and we had a champion belt buckle made for him. This little boy wasn't even old enough to walk yet, and he already had a world champion automobile auctioneer's belt buckle that we gave him. And we have stood beside this young man and watched him grow. And now he's selling cars at Barrett-Jackson. He's selling cars in Denver. He's doing an exceptionally good job. So I figured that I owed it to Blake to make him a song, and I sent it to his daddy the other day, and they absolutely loved it, man. So this is called Grandpa's Bloodline, and this is about my buddy Blake Sherman.
I remember the day that the word came down. Small town room, big love all around. Sherman blood running honest and true. Auction fire and all they do. Grandpa's bloodline, that Sherman name. World champion hearts in the auction game. From the first breath that he ever did, this boy was born to call the bid. Some kids choose it, some kids learn, but some are born with a fire that burns. You could hear it early, deep inside, that rhythm and that pride. Born to call the bid, born to stand tall, with a chant that shakes the very walls. Auctioneer blood, handed down with pride. You can hear his future when the hammer flies. From the day he was born to the man he's become, every road he walked led right here, son. He couldn't help it, it's the way he grew. Blake Sherman, we believe in you. We weren't just watching from the side. Colorado auctioneer stood unified. Not like his family, we are his kin. Every loss, every win, that buckle we had made with love and belief, given to him as a promise, more than a keepsake piece. A promise we made, a truth we knew. This world was waiting on you. Didn't know the lights, didn't know the miles, didn't know the crowds or the trials, but we knew the heart, we knew the gift, and we never doubted it. Born to call the bid, born to raise the roof. Got a chant like thunder and the crowd wants proof. Auctioneer blood runs deep inside. You can feel that legacy when the hammer flies. From the day he was born to the man he's become, every dream he chased, every race he's run, he couldn't help it, it's the way he grew. Blake Sherman, we believe in you. Now it's bright lights, big stages, world on the line. Barrett-Jackson moments, frozen in time, selling steel memories, history and soul, with a voice that turns moments into gold. Behind that chant, behind that sound, is a family that never let him down. born to call the big, born for the stage. Got that fire in his voice and wisdom beyond his age. Grandpa's bloodline, that Sherman name. World champions running through his veins. From Colorado love to the man he's become. Every step he's taken, we've walked as one. This song's our love, our pride, our truth. Blake Sherman, we believe in you. Yeah, some folks choose it, some folks try, but some are raised with a legacy inside. When that chant rolls out and the crowd gets loud, this family love standing proud. Standing proud.
There you go, man. That's of my buddy Colonel Blake, man. What a good kid he is, and what a great auctioneer he's going to be. And his daddy's a world champion, his grandpa's a world champion, ringman, and I just know that Blake's going to get there someday for sure. Like a lot of my friends, I'm so blessed to be surrounded by so many world champion auctioneer and ringmen, and to be able to call them my friends. It's just amazing. It really is, you know. If you really think about it, how many people do you know in your life that is an auctioneer? You don't know a lot of auctioneers, okay? Because there's not a lot of them, you know. Well, there is a lot of them, but you just never hear about them, okay? But how many world champion auctioneers do you know? That's the thing right there, man. Or world champion ringmen. They're you know, it's just they're just a few of a kind, man. And I happen to have quite a list of them that I call my friends, and I'm totally blessed on that. I guarantee you that right now. So anyway, this next one here is about a gentleman that has a C10 truck, and he was at a car show one day, and somebody come up and said, "Hey, I'd like to put your C10 truck in a movie." And he thought they were trying to buy it, and he said, "That's never going to be for sale. Never going to be for sale, because it's family pride." And they said, "No, you don't understand. We just want to put it in a movie, and can we borrow it?" And he done some long thinking, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to let them do that, man. As long as they bring it back in the same shape as they got it, I'll let them do it." So this one here is called Hollywood Called My C10.
Saturday sun at a hometown show. Dad's old Chevy still in the glow. Hand-me-down keys in my pocket tight. Every dent was a piece of his life. A man walked up, said, "Son, that's clean." Asked me straight what the price might be. I just smiled, shook my head slow. Said that truck ain't ever gonna go. I said money comes and money goes, but some things you just don't sell. Hollywood called my C10. I said, "Man, you don't understand. That truck was my daddy's blood and sweat. There ain't a dollar that could buy that yet." He said, "We don't wanna own it, friend. Just need it for a story on the silver screen." I went home torn in between when Hollywood called my C10. Said he worked with a movie crew, looking for a truck just like mine to use. Big time film, back road scenes, small town steel and a leading role dream. I said I have to think this through. Called my mom, I stood in Dad's old boots. Couple weeks passed, then I made the call. Said, "You can use it, bring it back the same, that's all." He said, "Son, you've got my word. That promise meant more than what I'd heard." Hollywood called my C10. I said, "Man, you don't understand. That truck was my daddy's blood and sweat. There ain't a dollar that could buy that yet." He said, "We don't wanna own it, in between. When Hollywood called my C10. Oh, yeah. Months roll by, the truck stayed gone. Every night felt a little too long. Then a hauler pulled in my drive one day. Same old Chevy, same old paint. Then Hollywood called again one night. Said, come on out, it's permit time. When we got there under marquee lights, set my C10 shining just right. Flash bulbs popping, crowds leaning in like that old truck was the star of the film. Right then I felt it deep within, like Dad was standing there grinning. Hollywood called my C10, and they treated it like a long lost friend. Same old soul, just brighter lights, parked out front on premiere night. Yeah, the movie played coast to coast, but the best part's what I felt the most. Pride rolling heavy like it's always been. Hollywood called my C10, and Dad was there with me then. Hollywood called my C10.
There you go. Hollywood called my C10 right there. All right. You're listening to Pedal to the Metal, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, BJ Johnson, the bad boy of Monster Trucks, is on the show. Me and him have spent a lot of years together on the road, man, and then all of a sudden he got big. He went to Monster Jam, and he drove the Gas Monkey garage car, man, for Richard Rollins, and that boy just soared, man. He's always been able, he could drive the phone book. I'll guarantee you that right now, man. So anyway, this next one here is called Patch Panel Dreams. It's about a young man that wasn't even old enough to own a vehicle yet, but he bought an old C10 truck sitting behind a fence one day, and it was all rusted and tore up, and he had dreams of visions of grandeur. He was going to fix this truck up and make it his own. And everybody doubted him, but when it was done, W-O-W, wow. Here it is, Patch Panel Dreams.
He bought it cheap behind a chain link fence. Rust on the rockers, floors all bent. Bedsides eating, fenders torn, but he saw chrome where the metal was worn. Every dollar saved from mowing lawns, grease-stained hands, work boots on. Everybody laughed, said, son, that thing's done. But he saw more than what it had become. Late nights in a cold lit shed, radio low, sparks overhead. Every weld was a promise kept on a dream he hadn't driven yet. Patch panel dreams and primer hands, hammered hope into rusted plans. Piece by piece it came alive before he ever got to drive. 16 years and a set of keys, small town cheers and nods of belief. From busted steel to showroom gleam, that old C10 was his patch panel dream. The new steel welded where the rod once lived, fresh fenders bolted, a little more give, block sand and lines till the arms went numb. Learning patience before freedom comes. Years roll by like coats of paint, sweating faith where doubt once stayed. He wasn't old enough to hit the street, but that truck was teaching him who he'd be. Every scar he cut away made room for something built to stay. It wasn't fast, it wasn't cheap, but it was his to keep. It was time and sweat and teenage dreams. Patch panel dreams on four wheels now. Rust-free truth, he made it somehow. Every mile said you earned this right. Every smile said, damn, that's pride. What he built him back, it seems, in steel and scars and gasoline. From a boy with a vision no one believed, to a man behind patch panel dreams.
There you go, Patch Panel Dreams. Everybody has a dream, and man, it's great when you're able to fulfill your dream. Anyway, so this next song here, this goes out to all the people in Oklahoma. My buddy Sam Ditto happens to be one of them. This is his song, and everybody in Oklahoma. This is called Oklahoma Bread. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal.
As I was growing up, I learned real fast. Oklahoma was the only place that lasts. Summers at the lakes, radio's humming loud. Good times rolling with a hometown crowd. More shoreline than the East Coast. No sun on the water, nowhere to go. Good music playing, good food on a plate. Yeah, this land don't rush, it waits. Red dirt roads under all four ties. This place don't whisper, it builds fighters. I'm Oklahoma bred, yeah, Oklahoma bred. Cutting my teeth on that red dirt thread. Football's a religion on a fall-time night. Packed out stands under stadium lights. Oil, gas, and grid run through my head. Heartland strong, I'm Oklahoma bred. Native American heart, this ground runs deep. Stories in the soil, promises we keep. Route 66, cutting straight through time. Every mile marker hums and rhyme. Tornado alley muscles, steel spine tough. When the sky turns green, we stand our ground enough. Sunsets here never seem to end. Painting gold across farms and friends. We don't brag much, we just stand tall. Small town loyalty says it all. I'm Oklahoma bred, yeah, Oklahoma bred. Cutting my teeth on that red dirt thread. Football's a religion on a fall-time night. Packed out stands under stadium lights. Oil, gas, and grid run through my head. Heartland strong, I'm Oklahoma bred. Oh, deer in these woods stand tall as horses. This deer stand mornings, coffee full break of the light. Music runs deep down every line, from porch string songs to neon signs. If Oklahoma was good for Blake and Reba too, then it's good enough for me and you. Storm clouds roll and the sirens cry, but we don't run, we face that sky. Faith in God and the ones we trust, built on love, hard work, and dust. Red dirt stains on worn out jeans, homegrown, so wide open dreams. I'm Oklahoma bred, yeah, Oklahoma bred. Born and raised on what this land said. From lake days to the deer stand cold. From old back roads to stories told.
Sunsets long and loyalty's fed. This is my life. I'm Oklahoma bred. Yeah, Oklahoma bred. Red dirt, hard, no regrets.
Oklahoma bred right here on Pedal to the Metal, guys, and it's also called Motors and Music, man. I got to get that into the rhythm of saying that now, man. It's been Pedal to the Metal for so long, and now it's Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music, and you, the Lugnuts, are the one that picked the name. So cool. I appreciate you guys doing that. And also, don't forget, we still have that 13-song album that we're having the contest. All you got to do is name the album. If I pick that name, then you will receive music for life. And anything that I make, plus any past albums that I've made, you get absolutely free. We'll ship them to you and get them going. So you still have to the end of the month to come up with a name. So far, the winner, I won't say the name of the person, but the winner is Echoes of the West. Echoes of the West is the name of the album so far. But you guys still have plenty of time to come up with a name, and maybe it'll take and throw that one out the window. So this song here goes out to all the fishermen in the house. This is called Big Fish in a Little Pond, right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music. We'll be right back.
I'm sitting here on a hot summer day, fishing pole outlining the water lake. Boots in the dirt, hat pulled low, time moves slow like it always goes. I'm looking up, watching clouds drift by, sun hanging lazy in a wide blue sky. I keep thinking about what I know is true. There's a big old fish where I'm casting to. Yeah, he's a big fish in this little pond, been hiding deep for a real long time. If I hook him now, do I hold on tight or let him go to fight another fight? Do I keep him here? Do I set him free? Hang him up where the whole world sees. A man's gotta choose when the moment's drawn, with a big fish in this little pond. I think I've seen him by that big old stump. Water rippled once like his tail did bump, but something tells me he's down real deep where the water's cool and the food runs free. He's a smart old fish, wiser than me, outsmarted hooks and my patience plenty. I've thrown my best and I've waited long, still he swims on, quiet and strong. Yeah, he's a big fish in this little pond, heavy as truth, strong as time. If I hook him now, do I make him mine, or thank him kindly for the sign? Does he deserve to stay where he's from, or shine on a wall when the day is done? A man's gotta choose when the moment's drawn, with a big fish in this little pond. How fish can make you think about pride and patience and the edge you're on. Some things are earned, some things are won, some things feel right just moving on. I've seen him jump when I drive on by, silver flash in the corner of my eye. Years go past but he's still around, king of the quiet in this patch of ground. Wall of water, fame or free, only the fish in the heart know me. Either way, when the day is gone, He's still a legend in this little pond. Yeah, he's a big fish in this little pond. Ain't about size, it's the soul he's got. If I catch him once, I'll know inside whether to keep or to let him ride. Some trophies swim, some hang strong, some live forever just moving on. I smile and cast as the night rolls on, dreaming about that big fish in this little pond. Lying in the water, sun sinking low. Some things are best just being known.
There you go, big fish in a little pond, man. Big fish in a little pond right there. Our next song up here is called Windshield Therapy. And for you, the guys and gals out there that are hot rodders, or you have something that you like to go play with, a razor or whatever, and for anybody else that might just like to go ride horses or ride bicycles or something like that, and you just need to get away and let the week just go by and just get out there and be with whatever you have a passion for, let's just call it Windshield Therapy right here on Pedal to the Metal.
Been one of those weeks, nothing lined up right. Alarm clock mornings, long days, short nights. But the weekend's here and the sky's turning blue. Sun shining strong like it's calling me through. Keys hit the dash, door shuts clean. Fire that motor, hear that horsepower sing. All the noise in my head starts slipping away soon as those tires hit the end of the driveway. Windshield therapy, that's what I need. Just me and the road, let my worries bleed. Windows down, fresh air hitting my face. Favorite song on time, slowing its pace. County highway as far as I can see. Yeah, nothing heals me like windshield therapy. Climbing mountain roads lined with tall pine trees. Cool, clean air rolling in on the breeze. Smell of the forest, summer in the shade. Feels like the world finally hit the brakes. River rushing by right next to the lane. Sunlight dancing off the water again. Every curve feels like a brand new start. Every mile lightens a heavy heart. Windshield therapy, let it roll. Blacktop medicine for the heart and soul. Windows down, let that mountain air breathe. Every mile's taking more weight off me. Just me, my ride, and a little clarity. Yeah, I'm finding myself in windshield therapy. You can ride alone with a few good friends, laughing loud, hoping the road don't end. No clock, no plans, just moments made, turning simple drives into memories saved. Just me and my hot rod, taking it in. Wind talking back through the open wind. Sometimes the cure ain't what they prescribe. It's a stretch of road and a long, slow drive. Windshield therapy, peace of mind. Leave the mess of the world behind. Windows down, feel alive and free. never runs free. Just me, my ride, and the road ahead of me. Windshield therapy.
Well, there you go. Windshield therapy right there on Pedal to the Metal. Motors in music and motors, or motors and music. I'll get it right sooner or later. Come on. It's just brand new. Anyway, guys, I talked to the program director, who's me, and I asked him if I could go over just a little bit and play one more song. And we're going to play one more song, and then we're going to close the first half out and get ready to start the second half. So what I've been doing is I've been doing the Gasoline Dreams all over again and the Rollers intro and stuff, because that's where I can cut it. And when I start putting up just the portion of the podcast and stuff like that of Pedal to the Metal instead of the music show. So we're going to start cutting it there. But anyway, this last song right here, and then we'll go into some of our intro stuff, is called Daddy's Old Stetson. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
I remember the day he bought it brand new, silver-bellied Stetson, wide and true. He walked out that door standing 10 feet tall, wore it with pride, yeah, he wore it through it all. Never left his side, rain or shine. That old Stetson hat was part of his life. The years rolled by, got weathered and worn, sweating the crown and the brim was worn. Didn't matter none, it was still him. That old hat was a part of him. He said, son, a man ain't a man till he's tried, living with honor and walking with pride. So wear it strong and think of me, 'cause one day I'll be gone, this hat you'll see. He laid it in my hands, looked straight at me, said the silver belly's yours, wear it proudly. Still got it hanging right by the door. Every time I wear it, I miss him more. Smells like work and long hard days, dust on the brim from back roadways. He's gone now, but he ain't far. Every crease tells me who we are. More than felt and more than thread, more than words he ever said. Every lesson I still believe, every promise he left with me. He said, son, a man ain't a man till he's tried, living with honor and walking with pride. So wear it strong and think of me, 'cause one day I'll be gone, this hat you'll see, yeah. I wear it when I need him near me, when the road gets long and the night ain't easy. Warm and soft with sweat in the crown, but I'd never trade it for a brand new town. That old Stetson made me who I am, taught me how to stand like a man. Yeah, a man stands tall when he stands his ground, keeps his word when the world lets him down. So I wear it proud and I carry his name every step I take through joy and pain. He's gone, but I ain't alone. Got his faith in that old brim I hold. My daddy's old Stetson, worn and true, means more to me than anything new. Yeah, it made me the man I am today. Just me and my daddy's old Stetson, still showing me the way.
All right, guys, that does it for the portion of our song with, our show with the music portion of it anyway. Next, we're going to be doing one here. We're going to be starting it up and getting ready to talk to B.J. Johnson. Here it is right here, our theme song, right here, Gasoline Dreams. We'll be right back with part 2 of the show.
This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline dreams, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families that drive us, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motor fire. Bill Nye Ballard, that's a creed written deep in our veins. We turn busted cars into legends and rust into fame. From late night garage grind to race day stadium roars, every scar on the knuckles unlocked 1,000 doors. We don't back down, we don't break, we don't fold. Every ride we build tells a story worth gold. This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline dreams, gasoline dreams. For the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families that drive us, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motor fire. Here's to the nights when the world said slow down, but the engine said no and we stood our ground. To the ones who grew up rich and when the rest took the easy way, we found our path in the piston noise and we'll ride it every day. Pedal to the metal, this is where we belong. Cars, trucks, monster trucks, loud and strong. Passion, pride, lug nuts, side by side. If you love what you drive, then ride, ride, ride. This is for the legends that started in dusty garages, for the kids who chase dreams through the scars and collages, for the racers who gave everything without fail, and the fans who stand proud when the engines wail. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, this ain't a phase. It's our passion, our culture, and we'll live it to the grave. Pedal to the metal, forever in our veins. So look out, we're only getting louder from here. Nothing built strong was ever built out of fear. The road is wide open and the fire won't slow, because this isn't a hobby, this is the only life we know. Pedal down, heads high. We're not done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pedal to the Metal, the podcast where horsepower meets heart. From the shine of collector cars to the roar of race cars and the thunder of monster trucks, we've got it all. So buckle up your seatbelt, turn on the gas, and grab your favorite brew, 'cause the ride starts now. And now, here's your host, Roller.
Hello. Oh, now just cut it out. Just cut it out. You're making me blush. Man, I'll tell you what, if that Gasoline Dreams doesn't, let's just, come on, keep it down now. Keep it down. If that Gasoline Dreams don't make you feel good, there ain't nothing, I mean nothing, that will make you feel happier. I'll tell you what, that gets me fired up every time I play it. I get fired up. But tonight, guys, welcome to the second half of the show. Tonight we got the bad boy of monster trucks, BJ Johnson. He'll be on here in just a minute. We'll be calling him live and talking to him, and we're going to talk to him about his monster truck career and stuff like that, and time with Paul Schaefer Motorsports and Bill Payne, and then moving on to the big show. The big show is Monster Jam, and he'll be on, and he's got a lot of stuff. This man has done more with monster trucks than we will ever do in our lifetimes. I'll guarantee you that right now. But first of all, we got to pay some bills. So we'll be right back after the words from our sponsors. Hey, Lugnuts, take a look at our new partner, 6ix9ine Graphics and Design, a small design and marketing company big on personalized service. They work close with you to get your business noticed with graphics that stand out and get attention. 6ix9ine Design focuses on stickers, decals, and graphics for your hot rods, custom projects, or business marketing. 6ix9ine Design also includes logo design, brochures, signs, business cards, banners, custom apparel, vehicle graphics, and much more. Remember, that's 6 and the number 9 Graphics and Design. Or go to 6ix9design.com or find them on Instagram at 6ix9 Design. Hey, Lugnuts, need pick me up to start your day? Then it's time to go to Rise and Grind. At Rise and Grind Coffee in Parker, Colorado, you'll find everything from bold espressos to creamy lattes to refreshing chai teas and smoothies. Whether you love it regular or decaf, we've got the perfect cup waiting for you. Hungry? Grab a hot breakfast burrito and a fresh muffin to go with your drink. And don't forget to check in on our merchandise. Perfect gift for any coffee lover. Planning on an event? Rise and Grind brings coffee to you with our family-equipped portable coffee trailer. Perfect for weddings, meetings, celebrations of any kind. Stop by 475 Singing Hills Road in Parker or give us a call at 480-212-3787. That's 480-212-3787. Rise and Grind Coffee, fueling your day one cup at a time. You know, those people, they're such good people, man. Every year they have 3 or 4 car shows, man, and they have it out there on a Sunday when everything's over with. And if you ever get a chance and you're driving out on Singing Hills and it's a morning time, because they're not open all the time. I think they're open till, I believe it's like 10 o'clock or maybe 11 o'clock or something like that. Stop by the little coffee hut, man, and just tell them that you've heard about their coffee, you heard about their service, and get yourself a cup of that great coffee that they serve, man, because Rise and Grind definitely serves some great stuff. So let's call Mr. B.J. Johnson right here and see if we can get a hold of him. The phone is doing all kinds of, making all kinds of buzzing noises from people that's tried to call in over the week, and it just I don't ever answer that phone except for when we call. So it's ringing. We'll see.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
You know, dude, I tell you what. We've been talking. I've been excited to do this one for a while. Number one, because me and you just we're still friends and stuff, but we don't get to hang out as much as we did, and it's just finally good to kind of catch up and let everybody hear us catching up, man. I'm excited about tonight's show.
Oh, absolutely. I've been watching your little podcast off and on, and listening to music here and there when I can, and then when you finally asked me, I was like, absolutely, I'll be on there. We can talk about whatever you want. You can talk
Oh.
about the good and the bad and whatever you want to talk
I
about.
don't
I'm
want to
ready.
talk about the bad because I don't think there was any bad ever happening between us. There was a hell of a lot of good though. I promise you that right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Guaranteed, man. Guaranteed. Especially in let's see here, where would be the best one that we had the most fun at? Probably in oh man, where would you say? Where would you say
I,
the
I think it was every weekend we were together. There was always something up to no good going on between us and Larry Swim and the Bigfoot Boys.
It was
It
Larry's
was
fault.
never
It was Larry's
ending.
fault. It really
Yeah,
was.
I've always blamed Larry.
Yes.
That's why I was teamed up with him. He would just be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Me and you, we'd go to choir practice and stuff wherever we could and whenever we could, and then we'd go out and meet Larry for dinner, and then all of a sudden, we'd end up someplace and just having a whole bunch of fun, man. I I
Yeah, like
I,
I told everybody that I always said we raced hard and party harder.
oh my God. I tell you, if we could just tell some of the stories that we can't tell, it would be fun, But it's just been a blast running the roads with you guys and stuff. So, we might as well just kick it off and just start off when you were a young boy and running around in California, and just tell us what it was like to grow up as B.J. Johnson.
Oh, it was good. It was. I actually grew up in Chowchilla, California, but I was like born in Merced and whatever. But my dad was a truck driver. He was gone on Sunday and back on Friday. So if I was gonna get in trouble, I got in trouble like Monday and Tuesday. But my mom, she's a little spitfire. She's a little bitty thing, but you don't ever cross paths with her. But
No.
no, it was good. Like my dad raced, my uncles raced. My uncle owned a Napa Auto Parts, still to this day owns it. So I got to be around a lot of motor stuff. I got to be around a lot of mechanic stuff. My cousins raced, and my dad and uncles were all flat trackers, and I did that when I started I mean, 6, 7 years old, and had a little three-wheeler in the backyard, and I was jumping stuff, and they're like, you need to start flat tracking. So it was like three-wheelers and four-wheelers and motorcycles, and I just worked my way up, and they wanted me to go race one time, so I went and raced and won the first race I ever did. And so then I
Wow.
did that for a while, but all my friends did motocross. So I was like, I want to do motocross. And they didn't want me to do it. I ended up doing it anyways. And kind of motocross was kind of good, which I wouldn't figure out later on. It actually worked in the world of monster trucks, but you learn a lot on a dirt bike. You learn a lot of crashing, and you learn a lot of stuff that you learn later on how to use in the trucks. And then going from that, we did demolition derby cars. I mean, if it had a motor, I was driving it. It was a tractor with a steering wheel. I was in it. I was a farm kid, so I was always out doing something. And then the trucking company stuff, and then driving rigs. I had a CDO when I was 18, and we were. I was getting out of motorcycles. I mean, my mom and dad footed the bill, and I'm sure there was a lot of times they didn't pay their own bills, but just did it so we could go racing, and they'd make up for it later that week. But they they were my backbone. They were the ones that always told me to go for it. And I still remember we were talking about it the other day when my dad took me to a monster truck show, and every little kid loves monster trucks. And I sat in the wheel of it, and it was the Skull Bandit. It was the black 60s, 70s model truck, Skull
Yep.
Bandit. And I sat in the wheel, and I looked at him, and I said, I want to do this one day. And he always has this grin, and he laughed at me and he goes, yeah, keep dreaming. He says, just keep dreaming, son. I was like, okay.
All
So we
right.
watched the show, and we were West Coast guys. Like Mike Welch was always around with his stuff with Super Pete and Cali Kid and all that stuff. So that's what I grew up with. And I went from demolition derby cars to we were sitting around having beers one night in the shop. And we said, hey, let's build a tough truck. You know, there's a local event coming up. Let's go do it. We dragged some ratty old Blazer out of the field, threw a cage in it, which nowadays I would never drive the thing that the cage we put in, but it passed tech. We did the show and took like third or fourth. Like we did decent. And I was like, man, this is kind of fun. We're hanging out with the monster truck guys, but we're not monster truck people. So we built a couple different trucks because we were crashing them all the time and tearing them up, and did a lot of shows with Tom Mentz. Mentz was just like, man, you are out of control. Like, you do stuff in a tough truck you shouldn't be doing. And coming from Tom Mentz, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, and so it was cool, you know, that we were around the guys all the time. And then I drove all the way from California to Hawthorne, Nevada. And Randy and Sherry Smallwood were doing a big off-road show out there in Expo, so I went out there to do that. And there was a guy that came up to me and said, hey, you that crazy kid that's driving that yellow Ford? And I said, yeah. And I've always had I had some tattoos back then, not like now.
Right.
But I had a mohawk, you know, I didn't like my hair, and that's just how I always had a mohawk. And I said, yeah, I drive that old truck. And he's like, man, you ever think about doing monster trucks? And I was like, no. I said, they're kind of lame, you know. Sometimes we race for like 8 hours in the desert, and you guys race for like 8 minutes for a whole night. He kind of laughed. He's like, you never got interested at all? And I'm like, no. I said, well, how would I even get to do that? And he goes, well, I own them. And it was Craig Christensen.
Oh, wow.
And it was him and his wife with Misbehaving at the time.
Uh-huh.
And he says, hey, I'm doing a show in California. Why don't you come hang out and crew for us and see what we do? So I went out there. I had a weekend off and didn't have anything going on. So I went to Red Bluff, hung out with him, worked on the trucks, talked to Craig. He offered me a job to move to Utah. And life was wild at the time. I had a brand new baby girl, my first daughter, which is Harley.
Harley. She's a sweetheart.
And she was 1 year old, and it was my girlfriend at the time. And she says, hey, you're always been a racer. Like, you need to follow this and see how it goes. So I moved to Utah. I stayed with Craig and Mike and Casey and Brian Christensen. I mean, Mike Christensen now runs trucks for Monsterdam. He's doing good for himself. But I mean, they were just little kids. They were 12, 13-year-old kids at the time when I went to work for his dad. And I was flying my ex-girlfriend in and out, you know, because of the baby, and it was just too hard. I mean, it's hard on the road. And
Yeah, it is.
I did that for a couple of years with Craig, and Craig had me drive Dragon Slayer. Actually, the first truck I drove was Misbehaving in North Dakota because Julie got sick and couldn't make it in.
Uh-huh.
And I said, how do I do this? And Craig's like, oh, well, you drove it in out of the trailer. I said, what's a little different, man? And it was a pretty big show, and I ended up winning racing, I think, one night. And I was brake checking the truck in the air, and no one did that then. And Craig kind of yelled at me because we were going to blow a rear end up, and he was worried about drive lines. And like, well, I can't see the front end's too high, so I'd lock the brakes in there to bring it down.
Right.
But I was fast, and Craig's like, man, I don't know what you're doing, but you're quick. Just keep doing it. And Craig's rule was, no matter what we do, you don't lose. He says, and if you're going to lose, make sure it's spectacular so they remember us and they hire us the next year.
Yeah.
So I went and drove Craig's truck a couple weekends, and he retired one truck, redid a truck. He was building a truck. We had a lot going on in the shop, and he says, I need you to go to Arizona with Dragon Slayer, and when you come back, we're going to have this new truck. You need to think of a name. So me and Mike Christensen, 12 years old, drove to Arizona. He was my crew guy. And it's a funny story because Mikey was driving me crazy. Like I wanted to punch him in his face because it's a 12-year-old in a semi for 11 hours. And I said, dude, just go watch a movie and before I hurt you. And so he went back there and put the Water Boy in. And it got stuck in the DVD player of the rig. So we watched The Water Boy for 22 hours, 11 there and 11 back. But from that movie, Mikey come out of the sleeper and he goes, I got a perfect name for you. And my hair was green. And he says, let's call your new truck Captain Insano because they show no mercy. And I was like, I don't know, man. So we did the show and we did the state fair and we came back. And I don't think the rig stopped. Mike jumped out and told Craig, he said, hey, we're going to call this truck Captain Insano because it shows no mercy. And Craig loved it.
Right.
So that's how Captain Insano was born. And I ran it for a while that way. And the boys all wanted to drive. They were getting older now. So the boys wanted to drive. I was the only one that wasn't family that didn't drive. And I told Craig, I said, hey man, I've got an opportunity. I might go back to California and do something else, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I'm done. Like I'm going home. And I went home for a week, and Paul Schaefer called me, and he said, Paul Schaefer, I need some help. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
what do you need? And he says, will you come drive one weekend for me? I got a big show and I don't have enough drivers. I said, okay. Well, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years later, I never
Yeah,
left.
really, man.
Moved to Missouri. And that was about time when I started running around with you. So now I'm like, we're in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. We're 30 minutes from the Bigfoot shop. We knew all the Bigfoot boys. We're doing all the Danny stuff at the time, running around with you guys and doing all this crazy stuff. And then Paul says, hey, why don't you drive this barefoot truck? You run the black truck with Larry. I'd never met Larry before. And we were probably the tightest teammates you'd ever meet because
Guaranteed.
when we got home, people don't realize when we unloaded the semi indoors and parked the monster trucks next to the hauler, our apartments were right next to the trucks. So I never left my barefoot truck for almost 2.5 years. If I went down to brush my teeth, I literally touched the bedside when I walked by. And Larry was the same way.
Uh-huh.
And we knew every nut and bolt and everything. If we had a weekend off, we were still there working on them. But we were with the trucks all the time. So I think that was why we did so good in those trucks. I mean, those trucks were wild anyways, but they weren't freestyle trucks. So Larry and I changed a lot of stuff without Paul knowing. But it worked, and everyone was hiring us because we were, at the time, the Schaefer stunt team, the bigger assault team.
That's
and we were doing
Bigfoot.
things in those, we were doing things in the trucks that we should not have been doing because they weren't set up for that. They were set up for racing.
Right.
And ran there for a while, and I was getting burnt out on trucks, and being on the road's hard. So I still got a daughter and never see her, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm going home. And I quit working for Paul and was on my way back to California. I stopped in Idaho to see Scott Anderson just because he's a good friend. And there happened to be, I did not even mean to do this. There happened to be a show that weekend, and Scott says, hey, will you come over here and drive one of the trucks because I'm promoting the show? And I was like, yeah, I'm on my way, and I'll stop in. Well, I got a bad thing about stopping somewhere, and I like it, and I don't leave. So 9 years later, I stayed in Idaho for a while. I got married there. I had 2 more kids there. Ran for Scott for a while, and then I started driving for everybody. And it was fun. Like I went and drove for Don Frankish, and I went and drove for Brad Campbell, and I went and drove for a bunch of different guys. And if they called me, I would go, and I'd been running on the road with Bill Payne off and on, and that's when he had the Jeeps, and he didn't barely know how to tie his shoes, let alone work on a motor or work on a truck.
Right.
And I helped him out a lot because we stayed at the track, and we became really good friends, but I never worked for him. And stayed there for a while. Stuff wasn't really working. I wasn't in a happy place, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. And Bill calls. Once again, hey, will you help me for a couple of weeks with Cali Kid because we're having problems with it? Yeah, that lasted a year because we redid the whole truck. Bill put my picture on the side of it.
Yeah, he did.
I would help him get his operation going. He already had a good thing going, but he didn't have enough people that knew exactly what they were doing. Like we were training guys right and left, and Ed Miller and all those guys, they were good, but there was a lot of stuff they still need to learn, and Bill just didn't have time. And if anybody's ever been around Bill Payne, he don't sleep. He's about a 4-hour window guy, and he's up at 5 a.m., and he used to drag me out of bed because I stayed at his house with Lorna and him. So we're going to go change this and then change that. I'm like, will you stop changing stuff? This stuff works. But Bill's always wanting to one-up everything. So I worked for Bill, and I got a phone call from Monster Jam out of nowhere.
Wow.
And everybody I always went to, I was up front with. And I told Bill, I said, hey, Monster Jam calls. They want me to go work for him. And he said, dude, go for it. Like, you have done this way longer than me. This is your shot to get in your foot in the door. Go. And at the time, Mike Wells, maybe anybody knows the old trucks, the Liquidator. Mike Wells was probably the coolest guy in monster trucks. He said, come work for us a year. I'm going to get you a seat, but you got a crew. Now I'm going to go back to being a crew guy, not a driver. Now, it didn't sit well with me, but I was like, okay. I shook his hand, and we were good on it. And I went to work for Monster Jam, and I worked for Candace Jolly for a year, and I built her a brand new truck and was on the road. And life's rough sometimes, and Mike got really ill and passed away.
Right.
So I didn't know where I was going to go and what was going to happen. And somebody there kind of knew about the deal and said, hey, we're going to put you in a second Mohawk truck. I was like, all right. And they're like, we need you to take care of a couple things, and you should be all squared away and ready to go. And you basically, in about 3 weeks, you got to leave on the road. And so they threw me in Mohawk, and I ran it. I met Lindsay through Monster Jam, and I'd gotten a divorce and wasn't the best dad for my other 3 daughters, and was always on the road. And I was like, man, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm trying to figure life out. Lindsay crewed for Medusa. So when we would leave, we wouldn't see each other for 3 months because we're on separate tours, and that's just how they had it. And we said we were going to get married, and I wanted her to be my crew chief. And at the time, they didn't want to do that because, I mean, you don't want a husband and wife fighting on the road.
Right.
But they agreed to it, and she was in charge. I was the third guy in the trailer, and I won't say what we call that person, but there was 2 crew chiefs and me. And we'd get to a show, and we'd unload everything, and they'd roll all the tires over to me, and I'd wash the tires. So Monday through Thursday, I was just the third person, and I did exactly what she said because she was in charge of the trailer. And when it came to truck setups, and if she wanted to try something, I let her do it. If it was something that I wanted, I would ask her to change it for me, and I wouldn't do it myself. And it just worked. You know, we were together 24/7 for a while, and she made all the calls, and she knows it with everybody. It's like, you got to make sure all this stuff's right. I was like, I'm riding in here. I'm like, I can be seriously injured in here. I was like, I want this, and this always checked because I don't feel comfortable driving without being checked. Like, if you ever saw us at a show, Lindsay always checked the fuel cell in between rounds.
Right.
Like, I don't want to burn up in this thing, you know. And there was a couple things that she would do, and I mean, I would, when I was training newer drivers, I said, these fire suits and helmets are not fun to wear, and they're not just for you to look cool and take your picture on TikTok for it.
Right.
They're there for a reason. Wear it all. But she made the call. She was the boss. I'd still say she's the boss now because I'm married to her. But yeah, we just traveled and had a good time, and out of nowhere, Gas Monkey wanted to come on board, and they were looking for a driver, but they were more motorheads and guys that worked on their own stuff. And like 15 of us sent pictures in. Monster Jam sent all the pictures in. And Richard picked me out of all the other drivers. He says he stays on the road, he works on the trucks, and he says he kind of fits our image. So I went and met with him, and what you see on TV with Richard Rollins is just how he is every single day. That is not showboating, and a lot of people say he's a jerk. He just has a lot going on. He's the nicest guy in the world. He will give you the shirt off of his back. But the 400 phone calls he gets a day and having a camera in his face all the time, people are like, oh, he was kind of rude to me. And I'm like, oh, he'll be back. And I've watched people stand at the gate. We call them zombies. They stand at the fence and yell, Richard, 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 Richard. And he'd be on the phone. He'd have to go in to his office to talk on the phone. He's like, I'll be back in a minute and sign an autograph. About 10 minutes later, he'd get off the phone. He'd go outside, sign autographs for 20, 30 minutes, take pictures of everybody because he said he would. He was a man of his word, and he would do it.
Right.
I ran that truck for a while, and by this time, you're talking 20 years of abuse to your body, and I had a couple pretty serious injuries that I could tell I couldn't drive as hard as what I used to because I was babying them. I don't lie to anybody. You know me, I'm pretty blunt. I did 2 world finals back-to-backs injured. So I was probably not supposed to be driving, but I did. I was barely cleared for a doctor to go, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It was getting rough, and then Lindsay was wanting to have kids, and I was going down that road again, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to step up and be a dad, you know, because I traveled with my other 3 girls, and if we're going to have another kid, I need to be home. So
Right.
I decided I was going to retire, and 2 weeks later, COVID hit.
All
So
right. Let's stop at COVID for a minute, and let's go back to Paul Schaefer days for just a minute. And Jennifer's on here, and she said it was fun being kidnapped by the Dodge Boys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
helicopter, and all the other fun stuff, you know. But
Yeah. So anybody that traveled on the road always called us the Dodge Boys because me and Larry had the 2 Dodge trucks with the Dodge motor Hemis in them.
that's the truth,
And
man.
if we were in our moods, which was every single night, we're like, hey, we're going to go have some food. We're going to go have some drinks. Let's go have a good time. And if anybody said, I'm tired or I don't feel like going out, we could find a hotel key to get in your room. We could track you down in a parking lot, or we could find you wherever you think you're hiding, and
Yeah.
you were going.
Guaranteed. A kidnap.
You were getting kidnapped, and you were going. You were going no matter what.
That's the truth, brother. That is
Yeah,
the I've been on some of them expeditions, and that is the definite, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
that is the honest truth. I'll guarantee you right now. And
yeah. You don't. I've actually done that with Woody.
yeah,
Woody does not want to go out, and a lot of people know Woody, and he was running from us. He was hiding in the bushes, and we pulled up in the rental car because he was just going into the hotel, and I threw the door open on a minivan and grabbed him and yanked him in like it was a real kidnapping. And we took off with him, and we actually got followed by the cops. And Woody had to tell the cops we didn't kidnap him.
you know, uh, we went so fast through your life, of course, and we left out a bunch of good stories and stuff like that throughout different things. But guys, you cannot believe the things that happened after the show that were just more hilarious in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and different places
Oh,
like that. But I mean, have you, BJ? Answer me this: have you ever played redneck bowling in a car before?
absolutely. Grants Pass, Oregon.
And did you steal somebody's car? I can't remember the story. Can you remember the story?
Well, I guess I'm safe now. Maybe. So we, I will honestly say when we worked for Paul and we were doing the Danny shows, and it was Danny and Woody and even Russ later on and whatever. Those were probably the wildest out of 20 years. I mean,
Oh,
we always had a blast. When we went out, we had a blast. But when we were doing those shows, Danny thought we were these giant superstars anyways because we were like their headliner truck. We could do no wrong, so we could get away with everything. But we did a show in Grants Pass. My parents drove up and everything was good, and we had Don King there
yep.
and had our two trucks there and somebody local. Like that, I don't badmouth people's trucks, but it just wasn't up to par with our stuff. So we're like, hey man, just go through the motions, make your money, don't tear your truck up. And he had a chip on his shoulder, and he was going to show everybody. So the first hit out, he did something stupid and broke his truck.
Right.
Don had borrowed a car, which I didn't know this, borrowed a car from a local to go get parts literally in the show because he was only driving a rig like all of us, and came back and went to make a pass in his truck and broke a wheel. Well, we needed two cars to do redneck bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry was going to drive one. I was going to drive the other one. And I go running back there, and I say, hey, I need to borrow your rental car. If anybody knows Don King, he was just like, yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I jump into his car, and we go flying out on the track, and it was set up barrels and e-brake into them. And it was a rental, so I didn't care, and I tore a lot of rental cars up. And Larry actually had a car from the local wrecking yard that we were using for a stunt.
Yep.
And we did this 2 or 3 times. We were doing donuts. I mean, because now the show has 2 monster trucks. It only has me, Larry, and I. So Larry and I became the entire show. And I smashed these barrels with his car, and I think Larry rode on the roof. But you might have rode with me or Larry. We were just having fun. The crowd loved it. It was just something fun to do. And I remember taking the car back, and it was smoking. It was hot. And I said, hey, Don, here's your rental car. And he's like, oh, that's not mine. That's his. I said, who's his? He said, that guy right there. The guy was coming out of the dark between the 2 trailers. He said, hey, man, what are you doing in my car? And I said, oh, I borrowed it. He said, I said, it got a little hot. He said, what were you doing? Because he wasn't paying attention. He was working on Don's truck. And it wasn't a rental. It was a local. But we gave him some free T-shirts and hats and a couple autograph cards. He was good.
Right. And then another story I remember, we were someplace and we were doing redneck bowling. And all of a sudden, out of the pits come my rental car. And it looked like there
Yep.
was nobody driving it. And remember, you guys come pulling up, and the seats were laid completely back, and you guys were laying in the thing. And all of a sudden, you both popped up, and we had a deal that we made it with redneck bowling, and these guys would say "Eehaw." And
Oh, yeah.
remember that? So
Larry was the
I've led you
loudest
the
person.
story. Now you tell the rest.
Yeah, so if anybody was around us at the track, I would still say to this day, you don't leave your keys in the cup holder.
No.
So Jeff messed up and left the keys in the cup holder, and we decided that the show was being lame, and we were just going to sneak it out on the track because nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And
this
we
was a
laid the
rental
seats
car.
all the way down, and I was actually driving it on the track using the left-hand mirror and the rear view mirror to keep myself between the lines on the racetrack. And I just remember pulling up there and doing a burnout and stopping, and you were just still talking, doing sponsors, and turned around. And you were like, "Is that my car?" And the microphone was on. And Larry, at the top of his lungs, "Yeehaw!" And I just did a burnout, and we drove off. And we took it back. Like, we were nice about that one. We might have jumped it going out of the speedway, but we tried not to tell
I think we did something like that too. I mean, I think you did really, but no, I mean, the stories that we have, guys, is just they're stories for a lifetime, and you know, we might forget one, but all it takes is a lead into the story, and man, we pick up and we laugh and just have such a good time together, man. I'm serious. That was probably, we all thought that we were probably rock stars, and we did things that we got away with that we shouldn't have got away with, you know.
Oh,
And
we were living the rock star life.
oh
That
my
was
God,
guaranteed.
it really was, you
Yeah.
know. It
Between
was,
like stealing the promoter's key, hotel key, because we said we were the promoter and forgot it,
yeah,
and we would take all their furniture out of the room and put it all in the bathroom. And the rule is you always put the mattress in last, and when you shut the door, you can't get the door back open. And this is the guy that paid us to be there. Or we would do trash can waterfalls, where you put the big trash can from the hallway and you fill it 3/4 away with water, and you lean it up against the door, and you just knock on the door and run away.
yeah,
So when they open the door up, all that water runs through the hotel.
yeah,
And there was always something going on. One story I would still to this day I laugh about is, I remember we were in La Crosse, Wisconsin. The night before, somehow we ended up in a boxing ring at a local establishment, and I still don't know what happened there. But the next day was you walking up to me and going, "Hey, I'm thinking about giving this body panel away. We got a Make-A-Wish kid here. We got all this other stuff." And I'm like, "All right." I said, "Well, if we tear something up, I'll give you something. I got enough in the trailer to replace it, but if I tear something up tonight, I'll do it." And I just remember you with that little smirk smile you have, and you're just like, "Well, if you knew how to wheelie, you could take the tailgate off." And you just walked off, and it literally pissed me off. And I was like, "Oh, you want to play that game?" So I pulled out on the floor, never done it before, pulled about 5 feet from the cars and stopped. Now, I've got like an 1,800 horse Keith Black Hemi in this truck, and we'd already pulled all the weights out of the truck, so I knew it would do wheelies really well. And from a dead stop, I hammered that thing and shifted the second before I even hit the cars with the wheels spinning. And all I remember was seeing the American flag in the center of this arena at the windshield, and it was getting closer and closer, and I'm like, "I'm going to flip this thing over backwards." And then it hit, and I landed, and I turned around, and they shut me off. And I was like, "Okay, I'm broke." Like, I had to have broke it. I think I cleared like 6 cars straight up and down. And I see Woody running across the track with the tailgate. And I was like, "What? Jeff got me." Like, I'm going to get an ass chewing for that one from Paul, but Jeff got his tailgate.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
That's where the NASA Barefoot started.
the NASA Barefoot. God, that was a fun time, man. That was, because that's all you did. You pointed it up in the air, and it went straight up in the air like a rocket, man. That truck
Yeah,
was
those-
amazing. Those trucks were amazing.
Those trucks were old school monster truck people. Those trucks were made to do PENDA, straight line drag, 70 miles an hour, out of control. But they had all this weight in the front. They had everything. Fred Schaefer was a master of designing a straight line drag truck. That's how he could compete with the Bigfoot boys.
Yep.
And when we got them, we were like, "Man, these things are massive. They're tall. You can't freestyle them." And I told Larry, "Let's pull the weight out of them." Craig always told me, we need to do like a 70-30 on a freestyle truck. So we literally scaled them in the shop. I pulled 400 pounds of lead weights out of the front. I moved all my batteries to the back. I moved everything to the back. I had nothing in front of me. Larry, I wouldn't say he got scared, but he's like, I want to do racing. I said, "Well, if you concentrate on winning all the races, I'll concentrate on winning all the freestyles." So we moved some weight on his truck a little bit, but my motor was set further back, and it worked. Once we figured it out, trust me, they were a handful to drive.
Yeah.
But once we figured it out, it was great. I mean, I had a hard time beating Larry because his truck was set up to go straight, and he's still freestyle. I mean, he's won freestyles with me, but it was a lot harder for him to do one.
Right.
Me, it was more, I'm along for the ride. I always tell people it's like riding a roller coaster with no rails. I didn't know what it was going to do.
That's the truth. I just looked down at my screen, and I'm just a little emotional right now. Your dad's on,
Oh, yeah. I told him he better be watching.
and he's using your mom's Facebook page, man.
Yep.
That's amazing, bro. Hello, Dad. How you doing, man? I miss you. I love you. And It was so good to see your parents at the shows because they treated us all like family, man. We were like their boys, and they were our mom and dads on the road, man. And I love them so much. And then, your mom passed away, and
Yeah. Don't make me cry, Roller.
I know, yeah, wow. But anyway, Pops, I love you, man. I really do. So, Austin Torgeson's on here. What's up, dude? There's another thing, too. Remember hanging out in the pits and watching these two little boys play football, play Hot Wheels, run around chasing each other, and not caring anything about monster trucks, not caring anything about anything except for just having a good time. And their dad owned a monster truck company, and all of a sudden they get into go karts, and now, man, these
I'm so
boys.
proud of them too.
Oh
I
my God.
I am
I
always
love them, man.
hitting
Those are
up
my
Danny
boys.
or I hit up the boys, and I tell them, I'm like, you know what? I used to want to kick your guys' little asses because you were into everything, driving us crazy. But proud of them, man. Those are some racing kids. Those
Oh
guys.
my God.
Those
Are
guys
they?
remind me a lot of me because if it's got a steering wheel, they're going to wheel that thing till
That's the
it's
truth.
almost scary.
And it
You
don't
know?
matter what it is. I mean, it can be a
No.
mini monster truck, it can be a go kart, it can be their midget racing or whatever they race. I'm not sure, and I want to have them on the show, but they're so busy all the time, man. I got to corral them up and get them in the thing. But those are my boys, man. I mean, I. Uh, he's Austin says I'm taking over the business, and you know what? I'm not shitting you. Austin used to tell me when he was little that he's going to take over the business one day, man, and I believe that he's going to. But I mean, these boys can drive. These boys can do anything, and kudos to them. And Aust, I'm going to have you and your brother definitely on the show, man, for sure, and get in there and talk to you guys and stuff. So we'll set up a time and get you on the show. But getting back to and thank goodness Austin come in, man, because I was losing it with your dad, man. I was losing composure and I didn't want to do that, but
Yeah.
I
I had to
just
take a deep breath.
oh
It goes back to my mom and dad were everybody's mom and dad on the road.
oh my
My mom was my
God.
biggest supporter with everything, and
Yeah.
my dad. But my mom, I told you the story the other day. My mom would send autographed picture cards out that were 5 years old to people that she didn't even know, just because they messaged her on Facebook and they would send her a picture, or she would send them a picture.
Yeah.
But it's life. You got to keep moving on, and
Yeah. And
that's why
she's
my
with
dad still has my mom's Facebook, and she was
Yeah.
my biggest supporter. And when she passed away, it didn't slow any of us down. 'Cause it's like I'm not going to be upset about it all the time because like she'd be mad at me. That little Spitfire would be pissed off if I was upset. So
Yeah.
yeah, and my dad still runs it, but that goes back to like even Danny's kids. I mean, all the kids. They all worked the shows. They all sold merchandise. They all did their things.
Yes.
The boys would do mini monsters and they do everything. And we got to see them grow up on the road.
We
It's
did.
just like my parents watched me grow up on the road, but they were there with you guys. And I'm sure my mom's probably yelled at you for doing something stupid.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I remember watching over us and getting mad at us because we were acting fools, and she'd tell us that we were acting fools, man.
Yeah, she'd be like, she'd go, "You boys need to knock it off right now."
Right.
I'm like, okay, yeah, we're good. We'll stop. We'll stop.
Yeah, and you listen to her. You
Oh,
listen to
absolutely.
her, man, because she had that authoritative voice, and it was a mom voice, man, and we all needed it, guaranteed, like that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we probably needed her more nights out on the road when she wasn't around
Yeah.
than
The only time we were being good is when we were on the West Coast. If we went anywhere other than the West Coast, we would get in trouble.
That's the truth. Yeah, I can remember. Remember when? Who was that? Oh, he plays on a lot of soap opera, not soap operas, but Hallmark movies and stuff. And he come to that little racetrack. And Austin, maybe you'll remember where we were. But anyway, he drove your California Kid truck. Remember that? They brought the camera crew, and he got in. And went, I'm going to drive a monster truck, and he's just putting around, and he's acting like he was bad. What was that? What is that guy's name?
I know the guy's face, and this is another story. Like, we're going to be story night tonight.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. That's what it's
I
about.
left to go to the store, and as I pull out, is when I drove Cali Kid for Bill.
Yeah.
Bill says, "Hey, Danny wants this guy to drive this truck." We were in Bakersfield, California, at a speedway, at the dirt track. And
Okay.
he says, "This guy's going to drive your truck around or whatever." And I was pissed. I'm like, "Bill, You know I don't like nobody driving my stuff around. If he tears something up and I brake later, I'm going to be pissed off. And he's like, no, you're good. So I leave to go to the store. What people don't know is when I went to the store, there was a couple guys that were giving an older lady a bad time, and I kind of told them to knock it off, and we got in a fight in the gas station. So the cops show up, and I told them where I was racing, and I was trying to get back, and one of the guys that busted my eyebrow was busted open. And I come back to the track, and my mom's standing there, and she's like, oh, he was here, and he drove, and she was so excited. My daughter was there. Oh, I know who they are. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, I want to tell you something, though. And I said, what? And Bill grabs my mom and turns her around. He's like, I'll tell him. I was like, don't tell me you broke my truck. Like, I'm in no mood right now. And he goes, no, man. He says he was up there and he wasn't paying attention. And he kicked your helmet off the top. Now, if anybody knows my helmet, that's what my brain's hiding in all day.
That's
all the
exactly
time.
it, man.
All my helmets are custom painted by me.
Yes.
And I'm like, you did what? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, Bill's like, if I got to buy you a new one and repaint it, I'll do it. I'm like, no, let me go look at it. And it was all scratched up. My mom's like, do you know who he is? I'm like, I don't care who he is. Got my helmet off the top of my truck. And we came out for intros. I was mad. And I come flying down the front straightaway and not paying attention. There's a ramp there. About took the power line going down for the speedway. And I remember landing up on two wheels. And when I got it stopped, I looked out the window and Russ was sitting in the loader and we were eye to eye. And he just points at me to back up, and later on he come down and he goes, I've done this a long time, brother, and I trust you, but that one scared me. And I was like, yeah, kind of scared me too. And he laughed. He's like, I had nowhere to go. I figured you were coming through the windshield. I said, yeah, at least you have a windshield. He laughed about it.
You know what, dude? And your dad is still on here, and your dad is 100% right. It was
Yes.
Porterville.
Porterville.
It wasn't
Porterville.
Bakerfield. And that's where your mom and dad brought the blood oranges. And I tried
Yes.
my first blood orange, and I just could not acquire a taste. I don't know why. I just, maybe because it's had the word blood in it, but I could not get down the blood oranges down. I couldn't do it. But
No,
it
I
was
can't
in
either. I'm
Porterville
from
at that
out
little
there.
racetrack. That's exactly where it
Yeah,
was.
trust me, I grew up out there and I can't eat them things. No, the life on the road, without your family is rough.
Oh,
The life on the road that you make, that Lindsay and I will say every day, the life on the road that you make with the people you travel with, there will never be a friendship that tight, and there will never be someone as close to you as the people you travel with.
Guaranteed, man. And I mean, I've even made a song about that where it's just life on the road and stuff. But it is, and it's everybody I talk to. We had Scott Chisholm on last week, and he agreed 100%. It's just a bond that you make with somebody, and it never goes away. It never goes away. We're always there. I mean, I remember when you did the show here in Denver, and the autograph line, guys, was just phenomenally long. And I think he was driving Mohawk Warrior there in Denver that time. It wasn't the Gas Monkey car yet,
Yeah,
and you had a couch. They had couches and stuff, and it was when you drove for Monster Jam, man. You had the world by the cojones, man, because there was couches you sat on, and the people come up to you and stuff. And I waited in line, and BJ was there, and I ran up and jumped in his lap and was like laying on his lap and stuff. It was the best times, man. And those people were all looking at me like, "Who the hell is that?"
yeah, this guy's a super fan.
Yeah, no, it was we just family. That's all. He my brother. Yeah, no, it's just the bond is so amazing, man, that I can't. Is it that way in Monster Jam too?
It is. I mean, we're together all the time. Monster Jam is a little bit different where we didn't travel with the semis. We flew in and out. And there for a little while, we never did the same tour. So we'd have different people we'd see every week. So you don't get a closest bond to them.
Right.
Like when Monster Jam moved all of us to Florida to do world headquarters, the first probably 6-7 months, nobody knew anybody. Nobody knew. There was no family here. So all of us that traveled together were family. So every Saturday we'd be at the beach. There'd be 20, 30 of us at the beach. That's what we did.
Uh-huh.
We had Saturday off and we weren't racing. We'd be at the beach. And then we go back on the road, and then things were changing, and it get a little bit more corporate, and we're going to do this and world tours. So half the guys are normally running around through is overseas, and we're doing the U.S. tours, and it became work. it became not fun.
Right.
It was, you have to clock in, you have to clock out. And I mean, we were doing, God, when we ran for Paul, we do 48 weekends in a year. Like, we'd be going all year long.
Right.
And here we are, it was like, okay, you guys got 2 or 3 weekends here. Here's your schedule. Then you got a weekend off, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And we're like, okay. You know, it's like going to work 8 to 5, a normal job.
Yeah. That's a
You fly out, and you're gone for weeks at a time. But the guys we traveled with all the time when we were on tours together, we're still all really good friends with. I mean, they're tight friends, but they're in Carolina, they're in Illinois. I mean, they're everywhere. We don't ever get to see anybody anymore. So
yeah.
some people stay here in Florida. We still see some of the guys. The company I actually run now, there's a bunch of guys that have left Monster Jam that want to be home every night, so they actually work for me. They work for the company that I run for a guy.
That's cool.
And I get to see those guys, but it's rough. I mean, you know, road life, it's amazing until it's not.
Right.
And then having kids, and Lindsay came off the road, and I had really good crew chiefs with me that she trained. But, you know, here it is, my new wife, and I have a baby getting ready to hit, and that's when COVID was hitting, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm going to retire anyways. I'm done. Still drive off and on for people here and there. I went and drove for Jimmy Creighton, and I'm still kind of the last resort. Hey, BJ's got to be close to you. He'll come drive. Or I'll show up to a show with my gear bag, and they're like, I don't feel like driving, you go drive. And I'll just jump in someone's truck and go drive it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you hang on for a minute? I'm going to play the song that I created for you. Every person that's on the show on Sunday that's a monster truck driver gets a song made for them by me, and then I send it to them, and they have to approve it and stuff. And to this day, the one that, and it was no problem, it was no grief or anything like that, was Jim Kramer. He was like, well, I like this, but you know, if and that was because I was making a song for a guy that understood music, and he was like, I want the riffs to be like this, and finally I had to tell him, you know, Jim, I'm not playing any of these instruments, man. This is a computer that's making this. I'm just feeding it my lyrics, and it's spitting out these songs, but we're gonna nail it. And finally we did. But hang on, we'll talk more.
It's Jim Kramer. He's the most technical person I've ever met in my life.
Yes, he is, but that's okay. That's what makes Jim good, you know?
Oh, I love Jim.
Yeah, guaranteed. So we'll be back here in just a minute with BJ Johnson, the bad boy of Monster Trucks, guys. We're just going to go ahead and play his song, and the name of his song is Bad Boy of the Big Tires. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal.
Born January 8th, 76, Merced, California, wide open kid. 7 years old on a dirt track bike, throttle wide, dust in his eyes. High school halls, parking lot king, biggest lifted truck you'd ever seen. Hot rods, horsepower, oil on his hands. He was built for speed, not a 9-to-5 plan. 10 years old, Dad bought a ticket, Monster Trucks, and that was it. Sat in the seat, grabbed the wheel tight, said, one day, Dad, this'll be my life. Mud drags, off-road, tearing it up. Before 99, he was already tough, but when the big tires called his name, he traded dirt tracks for a louder flame. He's a bad boy with a wild side grin, lives on the edge, always all in. Steel-toed dreams and gasoline blood, crowds stand up when the engines run from busted knuckles to sold-out shows. If you know Monster Trucks, you know BJ Johnson. Stand back, son, bad boy of the big tires, born to run. 99, Craig Christensen said, I'll give you a shot, and he did instead. Dragon Slayer, Captain Say No. From 99 to 01, he stole the show. Then Paul Schaefer saw what he could do. Barefoot Monster Patrol, he flew. Frankenstein, Boogie Van, one by one. Every truck Paul had, BJ drove them hard and done. Barefoot, blue body, 1990, BJ was first Champagne made the call. California kid needed attitude and brawl. They wanted a driver, rough and real. California roots, bad boy appeal. Mom and dad in the front row seats, crossing state lines just to watch them compete. Loved by a driver, respected by all. Big horseback in every fall. 2013 Feb Motorsports Gate. 1 year crewing, patient wait. Mohawk warrior, yet it fit just right. Grave digger nights under stadium lights. Gas monkey garage came roaring through. Pick from many, BJ was the dude. Mohawk high, reputation loud. He earned that right, made his family proud. Met Lindsay, their teammates for life. French's paint, love, husband and wife. Built that truck with their own two hands. Framed to finish every bowl plan. Loaded the trailer, paint still wet. November 4th, 2017, best day yet. Harley was the first girl to come along. And Trinity and Paige and Riker running wild through every stage. BJ and Lindsay were still waiting for a boy to come along. 2023, Roddy arrived. Quad tracks, laughter keeping him alive. A little boy with his daddy's fire. Same wild heart, same big tires. Legacy rolling, generation strong. Same bad boy, bloodline rolling on. He's a bad boy with a heart of gold. Raised by love, fueled by chrome. From California dust to Idaho skies. Now Florida sandy beaches are where they're from. Still chasing dreams on 66-inch tires. Family man, legend, true blue. There's only one BJ Johnson through and through. Turn the key, let the crowd go numb. Bad boy of the big tires, here he comes. Yeah, here he comes.
There you go, man. Bad boy of the big tires, man. Your dad said that could be a number one hit right there. I would love to have had this program when I was doing monster trucks a lot and have that would have been a great intro song for you, dude.
Dude, I have all kinds of memorabilia and all kinds of crazy stuff that's been done for me. That's probably one of the coolest things that somebody wrote a song about me.
Ed Beckley said the same thing. He said, Roller, I had one made 30 years ago and it was okay, but he said that was one of the best songs that I've ever, and I've had everybody talk about it, even Jim Kramer. Jim Kramer was like, I'm kind of speechless. I've never had anybody make a song about me before, and stuff. But it's just I didn't know that I could do this, man, and I'm glad that I can. And to answer your question, Carter, I am a step ahead of you. I'm gonna compile a monster truck driver CD as soon as I get enough of them. But I already have a name picked. But your name would have been pretty cool if I wouldn't already have a name picked. But so let's talk about Monster Jam. You go to the World Finals the first time. What does it feel like going into Sam Boyd Stadium and seeing everybody there, watching these drivers hit the massive air, and you're already having a name of the bad boy of monster trucks, and you've got a brand new car that Richard Rollins expects you to really step up, and the pressure is on you. What is it like to be that driver?
You know, it was just another show. I went there with Candace and had seen World Finals, whatever. I went as a crew guy.
Right.
So I actually did, at the time it was called the Young Gun Shootouts. I wasn't even young then, but the Young Gun Shootout I did in Mohawk and did qualifying and whatever. We do without bodies for practice and whatever, and then you do qualifying, and we were doing all right, but it was just we were having issues with the truck and fighting a couple little gremlins from crashing hard the weekend before, and we did okay. And then the second year we go back and they stick me in Young Guns again, and I'm just like, I don't want to be this guy that's just like outside this thing. I know I can do World Finals. So then the second year, they actually I was pretty much one of the favorites to win it, me and Cody Saucier.
Right.
And they actually were like, we can't have 2 Mohawk trucks in the finals, and we can't have 2 Monster Energies in the finals. So they painted me a purple Mohawk truck, and I think Cody had a lime green Monster Energy truck and something else. Like, they had changed some bodies in the back, and in case we had won it, if we'd have done World Finals, they were going to do these body swaps.
Uh-huh.
Well, I ended up Cody beating me. He got run out of the corner, and he beat me by like one of the closest races in history of World Finals. Was like by 0.0003 or something. He beat me by. I told him if I hadn't fixed the hood, he probably wouldn't have beat me. But it's Cody. God love Cody. He's like a little brother to me. And Cody went on and did great, went to the World Finals, whatever. So then when Richard's deal came up, they called and they're like, "Well, hey, you're a big sponsor truck, and you're automatically in." So I'm like, okay. So we go there, and I wasn't nervous. I never would really ever get nervous at a show until I'm at the starting line or right before I go out. And Lindsay would be talking to me on the headset because she'd watch me check the seatbelts, check the switches, check the steering wheel, check the seatbelts, check the switches, check the steering wheel, pump the brakes, check this, check the throttle. I was just going through checklists that I normally would do, but I was routinely doing them. And my wife loves to sing the national anthem in my ear, and I would just honestly tell everyone that she should never sing because she's not real good at it. But I knew she was going to do it. And then the national anthem from Lindsey Johnson is one you will never, ever forget. She's singing the national anthem in my ear and blasting my eardrums out like normal, and everything was good, and we were laughing. And I had got with a couple of the other guys that I've raced with forever, and I was like, look, man, the wind's blowing tonight, and the chicane's really slick, and a couple of them were like, well, we do this, we do that, we do this, and people don't realize you're not independent, you're a corporate truck, so everybody runs the same air pressure, and everybody runs the same rev limiter, and they run everything. Well, they don't call me the bad boy for nothing. So we had a tire gauge that would read the technical air pressure, but was a lot lower. We were running lower air pressures. We did a gear swap. We did a couple things. I wouldn't say that we broke the rules, but we were pushing the rules.
Of course.
And if anybody ever watches a pass or actually YouTubes a pass from when I was doing those, I would never shift that truck until I was in the middle of the chicane because it would spin so hard off the line. I wanted to grab and literally run off the rev chip into the corner and shift it in the corner. And it was more of an experience thing than just once you shift them like everybody else was sliding all over the place and hitting the walls.
Right.
Running, and we did good. I mean, I think we were the second or third fastest pass ever made at World Finals, which is still crazy to me that I would even run that hard. But I can say not winning and crashing. I mean, if I came around the last turn, I was a little bit behind. I was committed. It was always all or nothing with me. And that's why you always see me crashing at the finish because I was like, I'm either winning this thing or I'm going out in a blaze of glory. And I normally went out in a blaze of glory at World Finals. And then if anybody knows me, I'm not getting in a crash cart. I'm not hurt. I'm walking off and waving at the crowd. You're not carrying me back like something's wrong. Right. And I'd walk off the floor. And they're like, you good? I'm like, yeah. And they'd drag that ratty thing back to the pits, and Lindsay put it back together, and we come time for freestyle in the very first year at World Finals. I did like 3 hits and rolled over. And that was the biggest kick in my career that I could ever have. And I was pretty rough on myself for a few days. I'm like, I knew better. I knew what I did. So then going back to second year, then now Richard's there and Discovery's there, and then he's just like, all right, man, you're going to do a great show. And he's all out of control. And I'm just like in my mind going, man, if I crash again right off the bat, I'm done. And we had a good freestyle. And I'd never done a backflip. I kind of refused to do a backflip. And everybody asked me what I was going to do, and I was just like, I got a plan. And I had seen Cam McQueen and I'd seen Chuck Warner do a corkscrew one time. I felt they were a little safer than a backflip.
Right.
And I'm going to try it. And my crew guy at the time, Anthony, got on the headset and says, you got 20 seconds to go. And I went flying down for the backflip ramp. I think I gave everybody a heart attack because they knew I wasn't going to do it. And then when I got in the corner, I was spinning. And I'm like, well, a backflip I'm not going to do, and a corkscrew I'm not doing because I'm sliding. And I'm like, well, I'm committed now. I'm not chickening out. So I did a half of the corkscrew, landed back on my wheels with the hood over the windshield, and the rear steer handle broke off, and the steering wheel shaft actually broke, and I was holding it up in the truck. And Anthony's like, keep going. So I just put it on the floor and let Jesus take the wheel. Did a couple hits, blew the hood off in the air about 40, 50 feet up, and landed. I was still back on my wheels, and I just got out and waved like I did for 20 years and looked around, and I'm like, well, guess I'm driving it off the floor. And I took it back, and that was the last World Finals I did. And everybody's like, man, you did great. And I'm just like, it's just another show. And that's kind of when I knew I was kind of getting burnt out on it, because I was at World Finals. I did great. And it's just another night to hang out with my friends and see all my fans.
Right.
And it was just, I got to go down in a blaze of glory. And to me, I won because I drove it off the floor after freestyle at World Finals.
Well, I remember I was coming that year, and I had my tickets bought. My wife said, "You can go," and I was going by myself. And that's the year my dad died. He died a week before the World Finals, and his funeral was the day before. And there was just, I wasn't in the right frame of mind or anything, and I missed all that. But it's just. It was so fun watching you on TV and watching you run, and I always kept in mind that's my brother BJ, man, and I remembered all the good times we had and all the fun we had and all the spectaculars we put on, and I was just like so proud to know that you had made really a dream come true, man. For a lot of drivers, and you made it come true for yourself, and man, you did a great job, bro. You really did.
It was a blast. Like I wouldn't really change anything. There was maybe a couple things to do different, but it was on my end, more family wise. But the racing part, I got to do everything I wanted to do. I got to go from the littlest of teams to the biggest of teams.
Right.
And I got to do it and be on TV and film with Gas Monkey, which I watch the show all the time and meet all those guys. And I still got Richard's cell phone number on my phone. I mean, I could call him up and he would just shoot the shit with me, and we're still friends. And now down here, it's the Freedom Factory's down here with Cletus McFarland, and you got the drag strip. They were actually racing all weekend. Of course, we don't go out to the drag races. We go to a monster truck show. So we were at the All-Star show.
Yeah,
So we went and saw Elliott Miller. Yeah, we went and saw Elliott Miller and hung out with everybody. And a truck breaks mid-show, and we run down and fix it. Like, my wife's just laughing. She's like a big kid. Like a truck breaks, you just take off running. You guys go over there and do it. And we were laughing because it was me and John Zimmer, another driver that I won't mention, Buddy Tompkins, a bunch of guys, a bunch of us that's drove, and we were all there just hanging out, having a good time, seeing Elliott and seeing the Pagliarillos and everybody. And the truck breaks, and we go run down there, and I think Jacob owns the Rat Attack, the Corvette.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen it forever. I mean, when Sam Sturgis had it, we ran with it.
Yeah.
And this kid's bought it, and he drives the wheels off this thing. He knows of us, but he doesn't really know us. Like, I never even introduced myself. And next thing I know, I'm under his truck with a sledgehammer and a wrench, and we're working on it. And his wife's just kind of looking at us like, and he's like, just let him do it. We popped the tire off and changed the tire out and put a different rim in, and Buddy's putting air in, and we're all just kind of working in sync with each other because we've worked with each other for so long.
Right.
And we finally get done, and she's standing there, and she's like, thank you, guys. And I mean, he missed racing. He broke it in two-wheel. He missed racing, but he got back for freestyle. And we laughed, and John Zimmer looked around and goes, man, there's about 125 years of experience standing right here.
Oh, shit, huh? That's
I was
the
like,
truth.
yeah. But we got him going. And I don't care if it's a small show or not, which was really cool that Elliott Miller, Mr. Monster Truck Showdown himself, he owns trucks, and we get there early, and he's like, hey, go park for pit party. And I'm like, all right. He's like, Lindsay, you drive. And she's like, I can't get in there. And Elliott, everybody knows Elliott's about 5 foot tall. And he goes, well, you drove Candace's truck. You go drive it. And I was like, okay. And he's like, take Rowdy with you. So I literally got in the truck. We checked transmissions, checked what we needed to check for his crew guys. And I put my 2-year-old on my lap. And he drives the golf cart and stuff here. So I was pointing, and he knows when I point where it needs to turn. I was running the brake pedal and the gas, and they had radios on us. But he drove it to pit party. And I got to watch my 2-year-old boy drive a monster truck to pit party, and that was the coolest thing in the world yesterday.
Guaranteed,
So,
man.
Now we're probably going to have an expensive hobby that I don't want.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. I think you might have planted the seed, and the boy is going to want to, he's going to remember that forever, number one. And then now he's going to get coming to you one day and say, Dad, I'm old enough, and I think we ought to build us a monster truck, man.
Yeah, well, that's what's crazy is, like, Harley, she had been in a truck with me a couple times, never drove one. She married Austin Tweedy, which
Right.
I ran around with his dad.
Yep.
And they went to work for Pagliarillos, and Harley would drive the trucks to pit party and stuff. And that was the coolest thing in the world to see my daughter drive a truck out to pit party for Monster Jam. And then they left the Pags. and went to work for Triple B when that all started. And my oldest daughter, was running the whole motorsports program as far as like merchandise and all the other stuff, and helped scheduling trucks. And she was working in the office. And Austin was driving, and everybody was doing good. Then they left and they went back to Texas, and Austin, with the babies, now that I'm a grandpa, didn't want to be on the road. Like, I had a talk with him, and I was like, enjoy this while you can. I was like, because you're going to miss out on a lot.
Oh, guaranteed.
So he stepped up, and he tried driving for a couple people, and he's just gone too much. And he's like, nope, I'm gonna stay home with my two daughters. So, and then Trinity goes to college and whatever else. And then the next one in line would be Paige, and we always call her Bam Bam. And she's actually driving monster trucks. So she's driving monster trucks for Craig Christensen. She had mini monsters for a little while, and in the summertime she got to drive the Rockwell truck. And she did great. And it's like proud papa. It's like proud dad moments when you see your daughters driving.
Oh, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. And
Guaranteed.
then now my daughter and son that I have now with Lindsay, Riker's out of control. Rowdy's definitely out of control. I should have never named him Rowdy. I tell everybody they're feral. I said they're feral little kids. They're country kids. We live in the country with property and stuff, and like they're in the dirt all the time. I said, if he comes up and smacks you or punches you, just look at him or wad him up. But if he bites you, I'm sorry, bite him back.
He's got all of his shots. Just go ahead and bite him.
He's good. He's up to date. He don't have his collar on. It was funny yesterday. Lindsay's fighting with him, and John Zimmer's fighting with him, and he's a 2-year-old boy. He's a 2-year-old country boy, and I just let him be a kid. And Lindsay's the same way. We're like, they watch their iPads and stuff when they're at car, maybe at dinner. But if not, these kids are in the dirt. They're riding 4-wheelers, they're riding dirt bikes. They're always doing something. And they were wrestling around yesterday, and Lindsay kind of shoved him because he was being mean. As he's throwing toy monster trucks at everybody. And she shoves him, and she's like, oh, and she runs over there like panicking. I was like, oh. And John says, oh, way to throw him to the ground. And when he stood up, his whole face was black. The only black spot of dirt in that parking lot. He sits up, and his face was black. And he just smiles. And all he sees is his eyes and his teeth. And we're all laughing. And then after the show, you know how I am. I get bored. So after the show, we're waiting for the guys to come back so we can hang out.
Right.
And the kids, what the kids love, we've been at Cretan shows, and everybody knows us. And when the show's over, nothing's going on. They're on the track.
Right.
These kids are running all over the track. They love crawling the jumps. And I would do the same thing if I was allowed to it. Torgerson's kids did the same thing.
Oh,
Everybody's kids
yeah,
did.
guaranteed.
And so I'm like, I'm bored. I'm going to get the skid steer. I'm just going to redo the track. And I knew the track guy. I knew the dirt guy for Brian. And he's like, yeah, man, if you want to redo the track, I don't care. I got something else I need to take care of. So I rebuilt the whole track last night so they could run today. And half the track I rebuilt with my daughter with me on my lap.
Oh,
and that second half I was with Rowdy on my lap. And they love equipment, but he have tractors with our construction company. And I come back after finishing one big ramp. I didn't want the kids with me. And I come back, and Lindsay has him playing in the mud. And you can't even tell what these kids are because they're so covered in mud. We literally had to pressure wash them. We didn't have the pressure washer on, but we used the pressure washer to wash them off so we could get them home.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
And they were asleep before we left the parking lot. But I was like, these kids are having the best life, the best time,
Oh, man.
and they're enjoying it. They're having fun.
Yeah, that's what it's, and I wished, I exposed my boys to a little bit of it as far as from the announcer life, throwing T-shirts out, and then I got to do a couple of shows with my son Jeff and stuff like that, but he just wasn't cut out for it. But just to have your kids there, man, and experience that, and to be a part of what you do every weekend is such a fun time. It's such a great time, isn't it?
Oh, it's one of them deals. You have to think every day. You don't live forever.
No.
So if there's ever a day you're just like, I don't feel like really going and doing that, or it sounds fun, but I don't feel like getting off the couch. It's like, well, the next day it's not going to be there, so you just need to get up and do it.
Guaranteed.
And with the kids, like we tried taking the kids and doing stuff all the time when we can. I mean, I got a company I run during the week, and then I have a side business that I run, 2 side businesses I run, so I'm always on the go. But if I got a time to stop, like they're at Busch Gardens, or we're going to races, or we're going to do something, because it's like I don't want them to sit at home and not do nothing when they could be out doing something.
Right.
And like don't skip an opportunity. That's one thing I can always remember. It's like if I hadn't stepped up and said some things that I needed to with certain people, I would never got where I was at.
Right.
And it's like, just do it. Like all they can say is no.
Yeah.
People are so scared to do anything. It's like, why don't you just go have a good time and go do stuff? Like there's always something going on that doesn't cost a fortune to go do. It's like, go do stuff. Take your family somewhere. So go do something because you're making memories. And trust me, there's times I come in and I just barely turned 50 and I've raced my whole life. My body hurts and I don't feel like doing nothing. He's like, we're going here, we're going there, we're going there. And she's 12 years younger than me, so she's always on the go. And I'm like, hey, you need to back it down a minute. I'm hurting. She's like, get up, let's go. Okay. So I get up and we go and we have a blast and we have a good time and take a bunch of pictures. And it's memories. I mean, you never know when your last day's here. So it's like, enjoy the time that you got.
Right. And I got another special one on here right now, man. My baby girl, Taya. She's now a mama, and Taya Marie Torgerson, man. Taya, I'm so proud of you and the mama you've become, and your brothers, all you kids, man. I love you guys to death, like you're my own kids, and I'm never afraid to tell you that because you know I mean it. And I love to see you interacting with your baby and how proud it makes you and stuff like that. You're going to be a good mama, and just know that I love you and I'm here for you if you ever need me. Okay. All right, that's good.
I'm pretty sure Taya, she probably still mad at me and Bill because we'd always turn our T-shirts in and we wouldn't do a count on them and she would do them for us. Like, here, will you count these? And she just gave me that look, a little Torgerson look, and I'm like, count these for me. I didn't have time to count them.
You know, I can,
Okay.
yeah, I can remember the first show I met her at was in El Paso, and you know, she's just this little girl, man, and I just started like I do all the kids. You know, if I met all your kids, I did it with Harley. You know, you just mess with them a little bit and just have fun with them, and I just love doing that, man, and it just makes so much. So many memories, you know, it really does, man. It's so cool. So it's good to see you on here, Taya. It really is, baby girl. I love you. But everyone, let's see here. Brandon says everyone became close enough and even often people to move into your backyard with their camper and build tracks. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, so Brandon he worked for Monster Jam. He was one of ones from Pennsylvania that moved down here when I said that, we all moved here with no families to work.
Uh-huh.
And he was going through a hard time and he had a camper and he didn't know where to put it. And I said, hey, why don't you just come live in our backyard? Brandon lived with us for about a year.
Uh-huh.
And I helped him build a mud truck that he still got to this day. But now he's back in Pennsylvania doing good for himself, and now he's got kids. So we've all grown up. But, I mean, Brandon was Mark McDonald's crew chief, so he was really good at putting a truck back together.
Wow. Well, that's cool, man. And having you on here, number one, it brings me and you closer back to each other again and stuff. But you're introducing me to people that are future people on the show, and I would follow your lead at any time that you call and say, hey, you need to have this guy on the show because he would be great, and I'm going to take your lead, and I hope that you do that, man, because it's
Absolutely.
I want to get when I had Monster Truck Radio, I tried to get people from Feld on the show, but it was like taboo or something, I guess. I don't know. They just wouldn't respond back, or I don't know if they thought, well, that's just a little podunk show. We're not gonna be on something that's mediocre because we're Feld Entertainment or whatever. I don't know what it was, man, but my shows have always been the background of what you guys do with your families and what you do with yourselves, and we always end up having a good time, man, and that's what I want to stress to these new drivers out there with from Feld and stuff. I want to hear their backstories. I want to talk to them about their backstories and stuff like that. It's just I want them to be on is what I want them to be, and all they got to do is get a hold of BJ, or they can go to Pedal to the Metal and say, Roller, I work with Feld and I want to be on the show, man, and I'll create a spot for you, man. We'll get you on there for sure. But what do you think of these drivers nowadays? Who's the one that's got the most charisma, the most savvy for monster trucks?
Newer drivers. What's funny is if you're out of the game for about a year or two, you
Right.
don't really know a lot of the new ones.
Right.
Some of the ones that were new when I was still going, when they were just little punk kids, where I was probably that kid when everybody else, when I started, Armando Castro, he was a cocky little kid from California, but I have a picture with him when he was probably 10, 11 years old
Uh-huh.
and wanted to do it and just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And now he's one of their top guys that drive El Toro. Armando does great.
Uh-huh.
Cody Saucier, he's been around a while now. He's my boy. He's on a hard tour right now. They're like 17 weeks straight, about 4 and 5 shows a weekend, but wheeling that truck like it's nothing.
Right.
But a lot of the new ones, there's like when I started. What's funny is like when I started with Craig told me I needed a bad guy for the sport. Everybody was good old boys. Everybody helped each other, and everybody was talking nice to each other on the microphones. Everybody loved each other. And he says, Craig and all his boys were all into big time wrestling. So like, we need a bad guy. Like, I want people to throw beers at you. And we always laughed about that. Well, yeah, that actually happened because I was the guy that ran my mouth on the microphone. That's why I became the bad boy.
Right.
I was one that I didn't care who was there. I wasn't there to make friends because I've always said that. And I'm there to put on a show, and I'm there to win, and whatever it takes to win. And that was me. Outside of that, I was working on every one of their trucks. When it was showtime, no one was around me. I kept to myself. I was the guy in the back that everybody hated. I put my fire suit on. I became another person. A lot of the newer drivers, I don't think they have that edge. I think they're just doing what they need to do, and it's almost went back. There's really, if you think about it, there's really not a bad guy in the sport. I mean, I don't know if even that works anymore, but Bellhan was that way with the first Mohawk Warrior drive, the original one. He was the bad guy at the time, and he ran his mouth on the microphone and it worked. And and I'd been doing it for years, but nowadays it's, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And with the show we were just at yesterday with Brian and Elliot and everybody helped everybody. Everyone had a good time. We laughed and joked and screwed around, and we were shooting each other with water guns and playing around in the pits. And other companies and other shows, you're not supposed to be doing that. You got to be professional all the time, and then you got cameras with you all the time and TV crews and this, that, and the other, and it takes a lot of the fun out of it. It's not what it used to be. That's why we like going to the small shows. I mean, you go to a Jimmy Cretin show. Jimmy owns every single truck that's there, but they put a show on. Like, they run that thing like it's the World Finals.
They do.
But it's Jimmy's stuff, and it's just like Elliot. Elliot started Monster Truck Throwdown, and he started with one show and kept getting more and more shows, and they put on these crazy shows, and they're bringing 15, 16 trucks into shows. He hit me up yesterday about doing a show in August for him to help build track. So we're probably going to go to Michigan, and I'm going to go up and design a track with a couple other guys for this huge show in Michigan. But nowadays I feel like, and I've said it before, I'm going to probably get in trouble again, which I don't care about.
You never have.
Until, and I've said this before on another podcast with a friend, until the guys that did it years ago get out of the corporate office and let some new blood in there to change something, it's going to go stale. And it's not pointing fingers at nobody, but it's like you can only do the same thing for so long. It's like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to do something different. Like, when we were doing Monster X Tour stuff and all that stuff was happening, it was like, I remember going to shows and Danny's like, we're jumping vans tonight. And I'm like, you didn't put a car in front of that? No, we don't need it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because it wasn't done at the time. We were jumping through motorhomes and stuff, and it was like, nobody was doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
But he was doing something to sell a ticket. And that's the edge the sport needs sometimes. And then you do the same thing over with the same tracks, and it's like, it gets boring. You can go spend hard-earned money to take your family there, and stuff's expensive now. And you go sit down and watch a show, and it's a few $100s to take your family, and it's like, well, man, I seen this last year.
Right.
It's the same show.
And the same trucks.
The same trucks, same shows, same thing, same paint drying.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you need to have something. What did I always say? You need a wow factor, and it's like, you need more than a wow factor. You need something when people sit down at their seat and they're in a truck on the floor and they look at the track and we're like, whoa, what is going on here? You got to do it safely. I mean, you got to do it with some common sense, but you got to have something different.
Well, it's just like when we did the West Coast shows, man. We'd leave them with that wow factor, and they would be back next year, especially when we're freestyling 4 trucks at one time or something like that, or jumping.
Yeah, whoever was sitting around an Applebee's or a Chili's one night drawing on a bar napkin and thought that was a good idea. Let's do 4 at the same time.
Yeah.
You want to talk about total chaos? The crowd loved it. And as a driver, you were scared for your life. Especially when you have Bill Payne out there.
Yes.
Because Bill loves to tell me, because like, you're going to do something stupid, I'm going to do it right behind you. I'm like, come on, man. You don't need to be 10 feet off of my tail.
Yeah, but he is.
But yeah. Oh yeah, of course he is. I trust Bill every single time. But then there was times that even we come back and Bill's like, "Oh, it was kind of close." I'm like, "You think it was your fault?"
Yeah,
And we laugh
exactly.
about it. And then like next week we do it again.
Yeah.
Lindsay and I were laughing the other day. We were talking about this because everybody always asks you like, "What do you remember fun wise? Remember you doing this? Remember doing that?" I got one for you. We were at a show, and I remember I told this Lindsay I think I told her yesterday going to that show. I said we were at a show. We were about the 10th weekend on the road. We were all burnt out. We were all tired. And you announced, still probably one of my favorite announcers. You're just announcing, and when it comes to when we did Tough Trucks, you say the same thing. And I asked you about it one time. You're like, yeah, they're coming around turn 2, and they're going to hit the same jump. And it was like the same thing over and over and over and over. And you would start sounding like an auctioneer
Right.
and not realize it until I pointed you out.
Yeah.
And then anytime I walked into an arena when you were doing sound checks, I get the auctioneer voice. And I used to have tears in my eyes laughing in my helmet sitting in my truck because the tough trucks would come out and you'd be talking about, they're hitting the third jump, they're coming around number two, and you would start, and I would start laughing as you would hear Larry laughing. And we're sitting in the truck ready to go. And that was the funniest thing. And you would do it without even thinking about doing it. And even when we pointed it out, he was still turning to Jeff the auctioneer.
Yeah, that's the truth. I guess you're right, man, because I remember you pointing it out to me and I didn't realize that I was doing it, man. But
Oh,
I'd
God.
done that.
Still
I'd done
the
that from day one, and never did really realize it, I guess. But it does get boring after a while, you're just coming around. Here we come down the back straight away. Look at him going right here, up and around, down, down, down. Here, down, one bump, two bump, three bump more, and coming around the corner. Look at him go, And you're just like, wow, I got to put a little excitement in the factor of tough truck racing. But that's back when the tough trucks were cool, man. I mean, they had some killer tracks, and it was fun back then because you'd get that old car out of the junkyard, and the best thing was when they got like a big old station wagon or something like that, but it became the star of the show of the night, remember?
Oh, yes.
That's
Yes, that was always the best. Like, there were shows even when we still did some speedways for Monster Jam, the tough trucks would show up, and I'm like, all right, now this is grassroots right here. Like, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we was making scorecards and standing in the back of our trailers scoring them. And then we got in trouble for doing that because we were egging them on. The guys were starting to get hurt. But, yeah, tough trucks. I mean, I did tough trucks. That's what was fun about it.
Yeah.
But you would always just auctioneer it, and then all of a sudden you would just be like, come around the corner, hitting the whole jump. And it would stop for a split second, and I would always watch you, and you'd still be going through sponsor paperwork. You weren't even looking at the track. You were literally listening to the motors, and you're just looking at sponsor paperwork and looking at this. What's the lineup? Because people don't know that Roller's the one that was setting the bracket up for the next round, so he's writing it down, but he's still just like, number two. You just die. For some reason, still this day cracks me up. I'm like, how does he do that? And I look at the track.
Oh, dude, those are some great times, man. Go ahead.
No, so I got one for you. I'm going to run something by you.
Okay.
So we're always wild and doing some crazy stuff. Talking about tough trucks. I've always got something on my sleeve. So me and somebody else that I'm not going to mention right now, and then one other big business, we're talking about building something that I could run by you, or maybe
I know exactly what
so
the Oregon wood stackers.
Oh my God!
And I said it out loud.
Oh yes, you did. You didn't mean to have that microphone on when you said that.
Dude, that flashback in my head when you just said some key word, and that flashback in my head. Now go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but oh my God!
I know that story so well.
Oh my God, that was
nothing like having to leave the speedway because we're gonna get beat up
by some Oregon wood stackers.
Yeah, Oregon wood stackers. Every town's got a name. They go. Bill Payne. My favorite one with Bill Payne is the Bremerton Buffaloes or something. Like, he's got some weird names up there. The same thing. Oregon wood stackers. Like, you name it, we've got it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That's some funny stuff, dude. My God. Thank you for making me laugh.
Oh yeah. So we're working on a deal right now.
Okay.
And we can figure out how to do this. We are going to build 2 off-road trucks to run with mechanical ramps that we're going to go do all the drift wars and burnout wars and everything they have here in Florida, maybe even go further if we can.
Uh-huh.
But we're building them with seats so people can ride with us.
Oh, wow. That would be fun.
Yeah. So we're working on a deal now with like Star Creations and US Body and a couple other backers. We're still looking for some more backers to try to figure it all out. But you can literally come ride in a truck with me. 2 people can go with me, and we literally do the burnout wars, but you actually get to jump them.
Oh, that would be a blast, man.
And it's going right back to where I started with the Pro Arena series. Because I'm like, you know how wild that would be?
Oh, it would be.
To go do it, just to go do a side act of burnout competitions. The one car we've got already done is the 34 Ford that's on a Corvette chassis that you can ride in. We're trying to figure all this ride information out because it's like anything else with a show, like you need something different. Like we need something to change how you do a show. And I'm not saying we're going to go do monster truck shows, but as far as like burnout shows and drift wars and stuff like that, we've already talked to a few people like, yeah, man, you get them done. We're down for it.
Wow.
So that's our next little project we're working on. I'm trying to get everything figured out.
You know who you ought to try to get hooked up with too is Brent Arnold's doing a series now where they race semis in circle track. They actually race a physical semi, a real semi, in circle track racing, and they do it on dirt. They do it on asphalt. They come up here to Colorado National Speedway last year, and did it up here. But this is a new series out, and it's just starting. I could see something like that really going over as a filler for something like.
Yeah, I've ran it by a couple of people and whatever, and I'm like, the company name's gonna be Rough Trucks. They're actually Bronco 2s with 500 horse LS motors in them, but they're like 16 inches of travel in the front, 20 in the rear, so you don't have to worry about hurting anybody, but literally drift these things and jump them. And I've talked to a couple of guys, and they're like, you know how fun it would be to know that you strapped in the truck with somebody that's driven a monster truck for 20 years. I said, yeah, no, we're not crashing it. Like, we're just going to go through our motions and do what we need to do. And he's like, no, man. He says, as soon as you get it done, I want to ride. I'll buy a seat. So it just was sitting around. Like, we always joke around when we come up with these ideas sitting around. We were sitting around talking about it, and I'm like, hey, game on. Like, let's figure it out.
I think
let's figure it out.
I know somebody that could announce your shows for you.
Only if you did it in the auctioneer voice.
I'll do it. It's a done. Yeah. Where do I sign the contract?
Absolutely.
Scott Chisholm's on here, and he says BJ and Larry both took turns riding with me in my Pro Arena truck in Iowa.
Oh, absolutely. I remember running out on the starting line. He was sitting in the starting line and jumped in the passenger seat. I don't even think I had all my belts on. Yeah.
That's just the way you were, though, bro. It's just if the right idea hit you, it was in action the whole time.
Good or bad.
Yeah, guaranteed, man. I promise you that. And some of the intro songs. Remember, we used to play Kung Fu Fighting for Larry's intro song, and just so many different things. God, I could just. Oh my God, there's some times that I just had so much fun, man. So much.
I've had so many people hit me up like, oh, you need to write a book or you need to talk about this. I'm like, look, there's probably some stuff that we shouldn't say.
Yeah, no.
Like, we wouldn't say people's names, but it's like some of the stuff we did.
Yeah.
Still to this day make us laugh. But like all of us being on the road, it was just like we had a blast. Like, we'd show up, we'd do what we needed to do and get all the trucks ready, and they were like, okay, now we've got a couple days to do whatever we want. And it was like, go sightseeing, and then sightseeing would turn into something else, and then we'd be doing this and doing that. But we were all together doing it. So it was like, that was what was fun about it,
Yeah. Do you remember the evening? It was after the show. We were all sitting in the motel the night that Mr. Disposal came about.
Absolutely.
I
still do that on the airplane.
I do not know why I didn't do this, but I have the original Mr. and Mrs. Disposal in a picture frame sitting right behind me, man. They're in the picture frame, and there's the original Mr. and Mrs. Disposal.
Yeah.
And I still have them to this day.
One reason, I still to this day don't know why you had that at the hotel.
I just went into the bathroom and there was one in there, and I just drew a face on it with a Sharpie, and I come out doing this puppet show with a Mr. and Mrs. Disposal. And
I remember Michael Harper falling over backwards in the chair because it scared him, and then he didn't know what was going on.
Michael Harper, there's one that I forgot all about. My goodness.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my God, my brother, you have brought up so many good times that this old feeble mind has forgotten. I swear, thank you so much, man. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And it's just so good to get back with you, man, and just to talk about old times, because then the stories start flowing and all the good stuff, man. It's always a fun time, man, for sure.
Oh, yeah. There was like, we would, when we worked for Paul, we stayed at Paul's house when we were in Gary, Indiana. And I remember one night, we won't go into complete details, but we went out where we normally go out at night with Paul. And we came back and he says, man, and Harper was driving. We were because Michael Harper does not drink a drop of alcohol.
No.
And Paul says, I'm hungry. Go by the donut place. So we went by and got a dozen donuts. And we had Bennett Clark with us. And we got back to Paul's house, and he says, man, where you going with them donuts? And took off running in the dark and tripped on Paul's fence because he had a little wooden fence and crashed. And I just remember Michael Harper going, there's a legend of the sport right there getting up off the ground. He had a donut in his hand and smashed that thing into that black cowboy hat that he wore and got up, and somehow that thing was perfectly round circle on the front of his cowboy hat, and walked in the house and still didn't know where his donut was.
You know, there's one that I used to do shows with, and I lost track of him. I don't ever even know to this day what happened to Bennett.
There's so many guys that Richard Patterson and
Yeah,
all them guys. I mean, everybody we ran with. I mean, everybody moved on doing stuff and retired and got out of it. And some got out of it at a good time, some got out of it at a bad time, but it kept rolling, you know. And we were still young. We were the younger guys still on the tours, and
yeah,
some of the promoters we ran for. And I look back on stuff and I'm like, man, if I could just sit back now and just watch what we did and not actually be doing it,
yeah,
I'd still be laughing.
yeah. So what do you think of these new drivers doing the stuff that that you guys used to say, oh shit, I'm going to roll over. Now they're doing it on purpose, and front stoppies, and making the truck, go down the track on the two front wheels, and all that. They've just executed it, and taken our chaos moment and just perfected it where they're driving and stuff now on them.
Oh, yeah. It's a big one. Like, what's funny is I want to say Cody was the first one to do it and just took a bad hit and locked the brakes up. He was going to hit the wall and did a stoppie and just sat there, and it set it down. And he put it in reverse and backed up because he was so close to the wall. And then we had Tom's test facility, which was the university, but it was pretty much a test ground. And they were sending people there to learn it. They're like, we got to learn this. We got to learn this. Ryan Anderson, I want to learn it. And Ryan was just beating trucks in the field till he figured out how to do it. And then doing the side bicycle stuff, and trucks run sway bars. Those trucks should not run on the sides of their tires. The front you can do because it's pretty much a wheelie, but the control they have to do it is amazing, but it's a lot of practice. It's not something you can just jump in and be like, yeah, I can do that. Because I remember when I was looking at dirt, you guarantee my foot was flat on the floor. I'm like, I'm not going over forward because that's horrible. That's the worst crash you could take, especially at speed.
Yeah.
And these guys are doing it on purpose, but they don't have a lot of speed. And then they have, like yesterday, they came up to me and they were like, hey, can you rebuild the popper ramp because it's just two concrete blocks, but it wasn't right. And I said, yeah. So I rebuilt it, and it was right at the show, but the dirt was too powdery and it washed away too fast. So I did a bunch of dirt, put a bunch of hard packed mud in there, and I said, hey, leave it sit and rewater it in the morning. And I called them tonight and asked them how it was. And he goes, oh, it was perfect. But you've got to set a ramp up for it. It's not something you can just jump off a race lane and land and slam on the brakes. It'll work sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time.
Right.
Ryan steering into a ramp and picking it up on two wheels back into the front still just amazes me that he can do that. But people don't realize the stress on the transmission and drivetrain when you're doing that. And I was an independent for so long, even being in the corporate world. I was like, I don't want my truck to up. I don't want to have to work on it.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not a chance of tearing something up that I can't make it back. I need to make it back because I was on the mindset like, we got to make our passes to make our money. And here's these guys who are like, oh, we're jumping and then brakes in the air. You're like, what are you doing? They're blowing drive lines out, blowing third members and axles and planetaries apart. And the guys that have learned that stuff, hats off to them.
Yeah.
I'm the old guy, and I'll ride a wheelie all day long off a hay bale, but I ain't doing the front nose picking.
Yeah, it's a talent, a talent. I'll guarantee you that right now, because I was watching, I was watching some stuff today, and this guy was he was just going way too fast on a front stoppie, and I said he's going to roll over here in a second, and sure enough, just boom, rolled over, But it's just it's an art. It's throttle control, brake control, I guess. I never did. I introed a couple for pit parties, but that was my extent of driving. I never did get a chance to be out on the road because I had to be home and work every week at the auctions and stuff. So I never did get to do the driving. But it's that's what it's got to be. It's got to be brakes and throttle, correct?
Oh yeah. When we were doing it, we had a test track down here in Florida, and they realized if you bring it up past idle and you just ride the brakes really hard and get it to pop up, you can't let them idle because they'll literally the motor will die.
Right.
So they got to bring it up past idle, so they're idling really high. Then you're riding the brakes, and now they're shifting in the reverse, and they're back and forth, back and forth. And what people don't realize is it's hard on the drivetrain until you get it up there. Then the drivetrain's okay. The transmission's not real happy, but now the motor's starving for oil.
Yeah.
So when this first all started, they have no oil pressure, and you were just blowing motors up right and left. So now they've got pickup tubes built into them a different way and pans and made to do it with more oil being added. If there's something, the oil pressure drops, it adds oil to the motor. When it sets back down, it takes it back out. I mean, there's a lot of technology that goes into trying to do it. But it's like these guys are the independents that are doing it. I know they don't have all that money into them. And it's like, man, you're risking a motor every time you do it. I'm like, it's cool, but you see 10 trucks do it, it's not cool no more.
Yeah. Well,
I'm still the old school wheelie guy. Yeah. I'm like, anybody can go out there and flat wheelie something or pull one off of a car and ride it all the way off the car stack. I still think that's cooler. Once you see 2 or 3 trucks do a nose pick, like, go do something else.
Yeah.
Like, don't nose pick's a nose pick. It's a different truck.
Well, before we go, what are you doing now that you are? Manny Rizzo says BJ MFJ.
Yeah, that's my neighbor. That's Manny. He's a good friend of mine. He's always down here and seeing what we're doing here at the house.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, hello, Manny. How you doing, man? Glad you're on the show. Glad you're watching it, man. Glad you're watching it. But let's talk about what you're doing now, man. I think you got a pretty cool, interesting main gig. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, so when I retired and COVID hit, everybody was looking for work. Like, we didn't have work. And I've always had a CDL, so I went to work for a dump truck company, a big dump truck company here in Florida.
Uh-huh.
And I ran from there for a while. And some of the Beld employees that left there went to work for a truck upfitter company. It's called Premier Truck Center. They went to work there, and they called me. They're like, oh, you need to come in here and fab this stuff. Like, they need people like you. And I went and sat down and talked with them. And I went to work on the floor, and what they do is they build truck bodies. We're upfitters. So Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Mack, Freightliner, all the big companies send trucks to us, and we put the beds on them. So it might be a dump truck, it might be a flatbed, it might be a crane truck, lift gates. I mean, anything you see on the back of a truck, we probably put it on here in Florida.
Uh-huh.
And I ran that. I did my thing for a little bit, building trucks, and then we were working in the front shop where we were doing frames, doing some other things, and the bosses came to me, and they were doing okay money-wise. They've been open for a little while, and the one boss asked me probably a question he should have never asked, but he's like, what do you think about how we're, like, running the company? And I looked at him, and I said, I don't think you run it very well because I think you can make more money. And what they were doing, and the way they were doing it wasn't making sense with certain parts of it. So he's like, okay, and I made him a deal, and I said, let me run it 30 days my way. I won't cost you any money, but I'm going to make you money. So we changed the layouts of how stuff was getting built and actually made departments where the steel guys only build the beds, the aluminum shop only builds this, the install guys only do this. We started making money. So they put me in charge, and I've been there almost 6 years now. I'm pretty much the plant manager, GM guy. And there's like 60 people that work for us. We probably do 100 trucks a month, and we're just rolling trucks out here. Like, if you go to a dealership and you pull up and there's a new Ford sitting there with a gooseneck on it here in Florida, we probably put it on.
Uh-huh.
A lot of trucks run through us.
So you shipping trucks nationwide then?
Yeah, we actually can build beds and ship them out. We've shipped beds to Texas, New York, New Jersey, all over. North Dakota, we've shipped beds I think, as far as Nevada. But we've had trucks come from Texas. We have trucks come from all over to have beds put on here.
Uh-huh.
And I do that Monday through Friday. And then I started a little side business just with a dump trailer hauling material for a friend that owns a pool company. Then that turned into something else. And then now we have I'd say it's kind of a landscape construction company.
Uh-huh.
So I've got a bigger tractor now. We do tree removals. I have a stump grinder now. We do all of that on the side. Today I was pressure washing all day because they'll go in and build a new pool, and I go in and seal the pavers and wash it once they're all completely done. So I was in St. Pete Beach today taking care of one over there. And then my wife's doing the real estate thing where she's killing it for real estate.
She's rocking, dude. I mean,
Dude,
she's
it's crazy.
freaking rocking it. Of course, she's a
Yeah.
go-getter, man. She's gonna anything she sets her mind to, you know. And then being
Yeah, she
married to
does.
you too, that's double.
She does great. One thing I love with Lindsay is she's just like I am. It's like if the sun's up and we ain't got nothing going on, we're gonna go make money.
Right.
So she's always on the go, or she's like, I got to go show a house. So I'll watch the kids. Or if I've got to work and she's got to show a house, we have a babysitter, and we moved her grandma down here.
Uh-huh.
So grandma kind of watches the kids sometimes if we're gone. And then my wife started doing the TikTok thing. A funny story with that, she came to me one day and she says, I want to buy this purse. And if I do this little video, I get like 15% off. I'm like, just do it then, like whatever. So she did it. The same company contacted her and go, if I send you a purse, will you do a video? And we'll give you a little kickback. So she's like, okay. So she did it. And maybe 2 months went by, and a friend of mine out in California messaged me, and he goes, hey, man, I was just on TikTok scrolling. I came across your wife on there. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you need to go back and look. So I go back and look, and that little video of her purse went viral. And there's like 4 million views on it.
Wow.
So all these companies started hitting her up. So she's actually a TikTok affiliate that can sell. So it's Lindsay Johnson on TikTok. They send us stuff for the pressure wash. They send stuff for the tractors. They send stuff all the time to us, and we do all these videos and promote their products. And I call her TikTok Tammy because I have about 20 packages at the gate every single day. But she's killing it doing TikTok stuff now. So she ain't selling real estate. She's doing TikToks. And then
That's awesome.
I'm working normal jobs and doing construction on the weekends for myself. And then next thing you know, I get a phone call that we're going to build these off-road trucks. So now that's the next project we're working on. I still have my tattoo shop, which I'm sitting in right now.
Uh-huh.
It's not open to the public. It's just friends and family, or if someone makes an appointment that I know.
Right.
But I still got the tattoo shop. I got a welding shop in my backyard if I want to go do some weldings. But we always got something going on. We don't ever slow down, because if we don't slow down for work, then we're slowing down for the kids and doing stuff for them. So not everything's cheap. So we're always side hustling something so we can make a little bit of money.
Well, you have to, man, because it ain't cheap anymore to take a family out and go do stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And especially when you got kids like you guys got and stuff, you know, you go out to dinner and it ain't $50. Not at all.
So
You know,
I
it's
try not
closer
to
to
take them to dinner
200.
'cause I
Yeah.
try not to take them to dinner because Rowdy will like steal somebody's plate, or Rick will be writing on the walls. They're out of control. They're actually really good kids. I love giving them a bad time, and it's like, I can't even take you nowhere. I'm like, you guys are out of control. And I was that same little kid, so
Well,
I can't
sure
be
you
mad
were.
at it.
You pay for your raising, brother.
Dude, our 2 kids, all my girls, but the 2 I have here that I see all the time are me and Lindsay put together to a T in a girl and boy version.
Oh, that's funny.
I have the 5-year-old girl that has the attitude that likes to mouth off, and I'm like, you're 5, dude. Like, what are you doing? And I have a 2-year-old that's just barely starting to talk, but he will give you that look, like, hey, man, don't do that. And he looks at you and smiles and just, like, puts his finger on it. Like, what? Dude, don't touch that. And he does it anyway. And if we're outside, he's with me. So anytime I'm outside, he has to find out where I'm at, or he's in the shop, or he's carrying 2x4s around. I'm like, will you stop? I'm like, I got 2x4s scattered all over my yard. And
Oh man,
it's never ending.
I'd love to meet those kids, and I'd love to see Harley again, man, because she's just kind of special. You know, we got to know her through the shows and stuff, and when your mom and dad had her running around out there and stuff, and it was just fun watching her grow up too, man. Just like
That's what was amazing, is I was on the road so much that I didn't have time to go see Harley. But anytime my parents could even drive an 8-hour or 12-hour show to come see me, they brought her.
guaranteed.
So
Yeah.
hats off to my ex-girlfriend, Harley's mom, because she was always like, yeah, take her. so she got to come spend the weekends with me and then spend time with all you guys. And
Yeah.
she still lived on the road a little bit, but it was through my parents, and
Yeah.
and I love it because I actually got to see her, but I was out running and being a superstar.
Yeah. Well, she had a lot of uncles out there, man, that
Oh
watched
yeah,
over her. Y'all, that's one thing about in the monster truck business is that if you were out performing, somebody was watching the kids and you never worried about it because they would set a boot in their ass as fast as you would if they needed to do it and you expected them to do it, and those kids knew that they were going to get it done to them, man.
oh yeah, they're the same way now. Like
Yeah.
the two being at the show yesterday, one of them was goofing around and Elliot snatched one up, snatched the little girl up. I'm like, oh, don't do that. You're coming with me. And the next thing I know, I'm like, where did she go? And I look over there and she's over there with Uncle Elliot.
Yeah.
And she's hanging out with Elliot Miller of all people. I'm like,
That's awesome,
but
dude.
he's going to teach her bad things. I know he's going to, but
Oh,
it's
well,
fine.
you would have done the same thing, and you did do the same thing.
Oh yeah, I
But
did.
it's just
I
the
did.
fun bad things, though. It's not the bad
Yes.
things. It's the fun bad things. So,
It's kids. It's literally kids being kids.
yeah, yeah. Well, bro, I really appreciate you taking that. I know it's a couple hours time difference between us and stuff, but man, thank you so much for bringing back old memories and thank you for doing the show, man. I just really appreciate it. And if you got some people that that can hang and do the show, man, I'd love to sit down and find out more about them and give them the same experience and the same time because our fan base, the lug nuts, they absolutely love these stories, man. They love to sit here and listen to listen to these stories forever if we could talk forever, and we could, but we all got things to do. But I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't care if 4:30's coming early, but I would no matter what, I would do this. I'd do it again.
Oh well,
We could
you
tell some
you
more
will.
stories.
You don't think that this is your one and only because you're not done. When you're going to be done is when you hear that roller kick the bucket and then there you won't be on the show no more. You're still going to be part of this show. You're still on this show and you're just an extension of this show, man. And if you call me up and you say this guy is can't wait to be on the show because he heard our interview or this guy's a perfect fit, dude, he's on the show or she's on the show. It doesn't matter. And I would love to have Lindsay on because
Absolutely.
I would love to hear her end of it with the monster trucks and what she went through and then to what she's doing now. So we want to hear her story too. So just tell her to be ready because she's going to get a call sooner or later and we're going to have her on the show too.
Oh yeah, because she has a whole story because she grew up with the monster truck thing too. So
Yeah.
absolutely. No man, it's a pleasure. I've enjoyed this a lot and laughed way too hard tonight. Regardless what happens,
Regardless,
we will be on again.
Yeah, guaranteed, man, for sure. Well, brother, I love you very much. Best of luck with the kids. Best of luck with your endeavors. And if you need anybody to do any announcing for you, man, you know a guy that'll come in your way in anytime.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you very much.
All right, dude. I love you, man.
Love you too, dude.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye. Well, guys, that does it right there with BJ Johnson. I hope you enjoyed the show. He's such a good guy, man. He's such a good friend, and we'll hear from him again. I promise you. I promise you, we'll bring more quality shows like this one, and we'll talk to some great people, and we'll meet some great people through this interview, having him on our show, man. So it's gonna be a good one. I talked to Larry Swim the other day. You heard him mentioned a couple times. He was a driver for Bigfoot and Paul Schaefer both. He's moving right now, but he said he would definitely be ready to do the Dan Runte tribute, and that'll be a good one. That'll be a real good show, man. We'll do a tribute to our brother Dan, and we'll talk about good times and stuff like that, and we're probably going to cry a little bit, but we'll probably have a lot of laughs and just make it fun. So anytime I was on the road with these guys, I definitely had a good time and have a lot of memories being on the road with these gentlemen right here. So right now, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll play a song here called Small Town Famous, and we'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal Motors and Music. We'll be right back.
Just a porch light and a beat up case. Mama saying, boy, don't run too fast. Playing for the mirror, playing for the wall, dreaming bigger than this gravel path. A radio hum and a six-pack crowd, stars on the hood of a hand-me-down. Singing low so the world don't hear, but I swear I feel them listening now. Every mile I drove, every note I played was a step toward a bigger stage. I'm small town famous, Friday night loud, county fair lights and a shouting crowd. Might not be Nashville, might not be gold, but they know my name when the story's told. Hands in the air, singing every line. Yeah, for a few good minutes, man, I'm doing just fine. Might not be rich, but I sure ain't nameless. Tonight in this town, I'm small town famous. Station coffee and midnight miles, posters taped on every diner door. Buddy selling shirts out the back of the truck, kids wanna hear that second encore. Granddad's hat in the front row seat, high school friends stomping their boots to the beat. Ain't no limo, just a long dirt drive, but this stage feels 10 feet high. Every doubt I had, every closed down bar led me right here to where we are. I'm small town famous, Friday night loud, county fair lights and a shouting crowd. Might not be Nashville, might not be gold, but they know my name when the story's told. Hands in the air, singing every line. Yeah, for a few good minutes, man, I'm doing just fine. Might not be rich, but I sure ain't nameless. Tonight in this town, I'm small town famous. To work, back to punching that clock on time. But right now this mic, these lights, this song, man, this moment's mine. Yeah, I'm small town famous, hands in the sky, sing it with me, let the good times fly. Might not be legends, might not be stars, but we own this stage and this old guitar. Every heart beating to the same refrain, every dream feeling real again. Might not be rich, but I sure ain't nameless. Tonight in this town, I'm small town famous. I'm small town famous. Just a porch light and a beat up case, but I finally found my place.
Well, guys, before we go, we might as well play the Bad Boy of the Big Tires one more time. A little tribute there to my buddy, my boy, the Bad Boy of the Monster Trucks, BJ Johnson. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Born January 8th, 76, Merced, California, wide open kid. 7 years old on a dirt track bike, throttle wide, dust in his eyes. High school halls, parking lot king, biggest lifted truck you'd ever seen. Hot rods, horsepower, oil on his hands. He was built for speed, not a 9-to-5 plan. 10 years old, Dad bought a ticket, monster trucks, and that was it. Sat in the seat, grabbed the wheel tight, said one day, Dad, this'll be my life. Mud drags, off-road, tearing it up. Before 99, he was already tough, but when the big tires called his name, he traded dirt tracks for a louder flame. He's a bad boy with a wild side grin, lives on the edge, always all in. Steel-toed dreams and gasoline blood, crowds stand up when the engines run.
Craig Christensen said, I'll give you a shot, and he did instead. Dragon Slayer, Captain Say No, from 99 to 01, he stole the show. Then Paul Schaefer saw what he could do. Barefoot Monster Patrol, he flew. Frankenstein, Boogie Van, one by one. Every truck Paul had, BJ drove them hard and done. Barefoot Blue Body, 1990, BJ was first, yeah, that's no lie. 04 came, Bigfoot called, he said no thanks, Idaho Hall. Scott Anderson shattered full sin, he put roots down and never left in. Don Frankish promoters coast to coast, hit and miss rides, but he earned respect the most. He's a bad boy with a wild side grin, lives on the edge, always all in. Steel-toed dreams and gasoline blood, crowds stand up when the engines run. From busted knuckles to sold out shows. If you know monster trucks, you know BJ Johnson. Stand back, son, bad boy of the big tires, born to run. 2012, Bill Payne made the call. California kid needed attitude and brawl. They wanted a driver, rough and real, California roots, bad boy appeal. Mom and dad in the front row seats, crossing state lines just to watch them compete. Loved by a driver, respected by all, big horseback in every fall. 2013 Feb Motorsports Gate, 1 year crewing, patient wait. Mohawk Warrior, yeah, that fit just right. Grave digger nights under stadium lights. Gas Monkey Garage came roaring through. Pick from many, BJ was the dude. Mohawk high, reputation loud. He earned that right, made his family proud. Met Lindsay, their teammates for life. French's paint, love, husband and wife. Built that truck with their own two hands. Framed to finish every bowl plan. Loaded the trailer, paint still wet. November 4th, 2017, best day yet. Harley was the first girl to come along, and Trinity and Paige and Riker running wild through every stage. BJ and Lindsay were still waiting for a boy to come along. 2023, Rowdy arrived. Quiet tracks, laughter keeping him alive. A little boy with his daddy's fire. Same wild heart, same big tires. Legacy rolling, generation strong. Same bad boy, bloodline rolling on. He's a bad boy with a heart of gold. Raised by love, fueled by chrome. From California dust to Idaho skies. Now Florida sandy beaches are where they're from. Still chasing dreams on 66-inch tires. Family man, legend, true blue. There's only one BJ Johnson, through and through. Turn the key, let the crowd go numb.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, I had a good time tonight. I laughed, I cried, I made a lot of you happy. Just hopefully you guys will be back again on Wednesday. We'll be. I'm going to have to try to find somebody, number one, because we don't have a show person on the show on Wednesday. If not, we'll just play music, but I'll find somebody. So thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I hope you had a good time listening to the stories, and I hope you laughed right along with us. So you guys, as always, I love you very much, and y'all be safe. If you're in the areas where the storms are, please be careful out there, man. These are storms not to mess with. So if you can stay home and stay inside, please do, because that's how bad things happen to good people. So make sure that you stay warm and stay inside. After this, we're done. So thank you very much, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Pedal to the Metal. I want to send out a huge thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and supporting the show. I also want to thank all of our amazing sponsors. You're the ones that help keep the wheels turning, and we truly appreciate you. Be sure to join us every Wednesday and Sunday. We kick things off with music at 6 p.m. each night. full show starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until next time, keep the pedal down, heads high, and we'll see you at the next show.